like bees to the honey. Honey, money, honey, money, honey. It's the SOSCAST, baby.
All right. Welcome everybody out there in internet land. Welcome to the SOSCAST here on Valuetainment. My name is Adam Sosnick. Action-packed show, action-packed lineup. Lot to discuss. Let's get right into it. Trump trial. Stormy Daniels. For all of you guys that wanted to have sex with Trump, you're about to find out what it's like. Yeah, we all know what's going on there. She tells all, and when I say tells all on the stand. Very interesting. New York City, ready for Trump to go to jail. They're ready.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. No? Maybe? Why? What? What's happening right now? What's up with that? Who do Americans trust more to be the president? Biden, Trump, RFK? Got some interesting stats for you. Beef going around with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Why are we talking about that on a political cultural show? Because Joe Biden just referenced Kendrick Lamar, Drake beef, called out Trump, said, I hate you, and this is the why. Used the lyrics.
He dubbed the lyrics.
He dubbed the lyrics. Biden's getting his diss track on. Let's see if the streets are feeling Biden. We'll find out about that. Black voters, are they fed up with Biden? Are they still riding with Biden? Or are they about to jump on the Trump train? Katt Williams, he had some very choice words for what America should do with all this money that they're printing and giving to foreign policies out there, foreign wars out there. What's the difference between Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts these days? I want to get your opinion on this. I can't tell the difference. Ron DeSantis had some things to say, whereas Biden's education secretary, he wouldn't answer the question. A lot going on here on the SOSCAST today. Tap in, subscribe to the channel, be a part of it. Let me introduce this panel. We got a couple first-timers, a couple familiar faces, a couple first-timers that are familiar faces. Let's start off to my left. We got Josie in the house. Josie Glabach.
Yes.
I said it right, guys.
Good job.
Nice.
Okay, she is otherwise known as the Redheaded Libertarian, not liberal, not conservative, Libertarian.
Yes.
We're going to find out what that means exactly. If she looks familiar, it's because you might have seen her a few places. Number one, you're actually on our wall on the conservative calendar that was sent to us.
Yes.
You know about this?
I do know about that.
Looking good in the kitchen,
Thank you.
where the women belong, according to conservatives.
I'm an award-winning pie baker.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
She got that cake.
We got that cake. You also might recognize her because she works very closely with TIMCAST IRL, our friend Tim Pool, our friend Ian, our friend Luke, everything that they got going on there. Where are you living these now? What's your story? What's going on?
Sure. I am. I'm the Redheaded Libertarian on X. That's TRHL official. I live in South Central Florida. I am a blue state refugee, so I came from Massachusetts down to Florida during the pandemic. I got my family down here, and it's all great. I'm here. I'm loving Florida, and I'm a constitutional and revolutionary historian on top of the work I do. For,
nice.
Constitutional historian. We'll get into that. Our friend Laura Padrino is back in la casa.
I'm back.
Casa is house.
Oh, thank you.
For those non-Spanish speaking speakers out there. Wife, mother, conservative, entrepreneur, home to Padrino's Cuban, the best Cuban food in all of Miami. And today, for some reason, Laura, you're looking extra clean. Extra clean.
Yes, I had a little...
She had a little soap incident.
A little soap incident, but
Okay.
yeah, keeping it clean.
To my right, all the way to my right, if this guy looks familiar, because he's sometimes on camera, sometimes behind the camera, but he's part of Valuetainment. Brandon Acito,
What's up,
Italian,
everybody?
geopolitics, economy. He's very critical of the uniparty that's going on in government.
Yep.
And if everything goes according to plan, which it never does, he'll be running for the President of the United States sometime in 2032, 2036?
36 or 40.
He already knows when it's happening,
Yeah.
guys.
Yep.
They say that
Mark
man
it.
plans and God laughs. This guy's doing both. He's doing his thing. Respect to you. Amy Dangerfield is here.
Hi, Adam.
By the way, Amy, part of the home team now, part of the crew, looking good in blue.
Thanks.
Not a liberal, though. Nothing wrong with
Not
that.
to get it confused, guys.
Don't you get it confused? Cultural, political commentary. Your channel just crossed 50,000 on
Close,
YouTube.
guys. I'm about 1,000 away
Can
from
we
50K.
get our 50? Can we get our subs?
Can we get
About
some
to hit
subs?
50K.
Let's go. Yeah, and I'm
Yes.
about to release some very spicy content. So
Nice.
jump in and check it out.
Oh, Taco Tuesdays. And then Natalia Del Valle is in the house.
Hello, I'm here.
She's about to reach $50,000 in the bank.
Yes.
Okay.
Because she's been saving that money, right?
Thank you. Yes.
Nat, what's new? What's going on before we start the show?
Yes.
Josie, what's going on? You cold?
A little bit.
A little cold. It's okay.
Did somebody approve a sweater?
Yes, you can wear a sweater.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't know if that was
I can
okay.
wear a sweater.
Yes, you can wear a
I
sweater.
usually ask women to take it off for the show, but
You're gonna have to turn
Okay.
the heat on in here eventually.
Turn the heat
but-
up.
go ahead, Natalia.
Yes, well, happy SOSCAST Day, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Today is going to be a really great conversation. We've got some different topics lined up, so I'm excited. Make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, share, do all that fun stuff, because today is going to get spicy. We got to warm Miss Josie up because she put her jacket on.
Ooh,
So,
good warm up.
yes, let's get this
I
party
like
started.
Yes, and guys, remember, we do have the option to send in some super chats. So this program is, we definitely encourage interaction from the audience. If you have a question for myself, Nat, Adam, Josie, Laura, Brandon, anybody on the panel, as long as you keep it respectful, we will happily read your chat midway through the show and then towards the end of the show
Okay,
as well.
so we're doing this, Amy.
We're doing it. Send in
We're
some
doing
chats,
super
guys.
chats.
Yeah,
You want them to do a super chat?
I would like you guys to do a super chat. If you get any value from the
Oh.
show, or if you have any questions, go ahead and send some super chats.
Well, look, I'm glad you approved this message. Natalia, when I met Natalia, couldn't read good. Now, A+ reader in school.
Thanks. I'm not in school.
If she were in school, A+. But Amy's taking the lead on super chats along with Natalia. Thank you. Last but not least, Alejandra's in the house.
Alejandra.
She's pulling up stories. She's looking good. Hey! She's doing her thing. Alejandra, you have the Manek page up? By the way, if you want to connect
Yes, he's
with
ready.
myself, PBD, Tom, Vinny, the home team, all the guys here on the show, you can find us on Connect. That's where you can connect by the minute. Financial advice, business advice, influencers, everything that's going on in the economy. Chris Cuomo's out there asking questions, answering questions. Tulsi Gabbard's out there. We're there. Have no fear. We got your back. There's Cuomo right there. You can find us on Connect. There's my friend Krishan in the house. One more time for Alejandra. There she is. There we go. You guys ready to start the show?
Let's do it.
Yes.
Okay. Let's start the show. So, Stormy Daniels tells all about her one-night stand with Donald Trump. We've heard about it. They've talked about it. It's been in the papers. They've been speculation. But finally, what, Brandon? She took the stand?
Sure did.
How'd that go?
So it seems like they're trying to go out of their way to publicly humiliate him, but I don't know. This one's not really moving the needle for me personally, and I don't think it's doing that for the mass majority of people either. Because think about all the scandals that politicians have been involved in, and whenever they happen, they kind of just they're a thing for a day or two, then they get brushed aside. But think about the amount of resources and effort and energy that's been put into looking at every little crevice of Trump's past and bringing it on full blast. And imagine if they did that for the majority of politicians, what they would be finding. So, the fact that she's just talking about some sex details, he didn't do anything weird. He didn't, do anything with anybody underage. He didn't do anything against somebody's will.
This one thing, I have it written down here, cheat on his wife, allegedly. So, nothing weird about that, right? So, here's some of the details.
Clinton.
Story told a jury of her peers that they had consensual sex at a celebrity golf tournament in 2006. By the way, little dates. He got married to Melania in January of 2005. The golf tournament was in July of 2006. So, a little over a year later. When was Barron Trump born? Anyone know?
I don't.
17.
March of 2006. So this was 3 months after Barron was born. Allegedly.
Right.
Very interesting. So married Melania in 2005. Barron was born in 2006. Allegedly, the Stormy Daniels situation took place July 2006. So here's what happened. She's on trial. She's on the stand. She's telling stories of what's going on. The judge is ordering her, stick to the questions. Shocking that a porn star was being a little too graphic with her testimony. Very interesting. She detailed the encounter, describing Trump in silk pajamas while she was feeling, quote unquote, disoriented upon seeing him. Starstruck? I don't know what's going on with that. Here are some of the quotes from the trial. By the way, you have the picture of the two of them together. Trump had comment. This is her voice. Nat, you know what, Matt? Let's get a sexy voice here. Read these quotes. Go ahead. Read those quotes.
Play Stormy.
Mr. Trump, go ahead.
Mr. Trump had to come into
Whoa,
the
whoa, 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 whoa. I said sexy voice.
Okay, let me try my soft
Yes, go
spoken.
ahead.
Mr. Trump had to come into the bedroom and was on the bed and basically between myself and the exit. That's sexy. That's sexy.
That's funny.
Okay. He said it was a bit early. Maybe we could talk a little bit and get to know each other. I was trying to think about anything other than what was happening there. Sex, she described it as a brief. Trump told her, it was great. Let's get together again, honey bunch.
That's what he told her?
Yes.
Continue.
And then it says, she said that he didn't use a condom and expressed no concern about Melania finding out. He went to kiss me goodbye. I went to leave as fast as I could. Daniels said that her motivation was for coming forward was fear, not financial gain. During testimony, Trump reportedly cursed and shook his head, and the judge warned him against intimidation.
Ooh, because there's a gag order on former President Trump. So I find it very interesting that the two key words here are hush and gag. Interesting. Shh. Hush money trial, gag order. So here's my first question. We'll go around the panel here. How credible do you find Stormy Daniels? High credibility? Low credibility? Do you think this actually happened? Go ahead, Josie.
She's proven herself time and time again to not be credible at all. There's 2 signed letters from her from 2018 saying that this never happened. And then the testimony this morning from her attorney that essentially said that she was extorting Trump. And we've seen her profit time and time again off of this, whether it was that she solicits herself for reality shows or it's that that strip show tour she took across the country. I think she was using his slogan. So, you know, with her not being credible at all, and then on top of that, it's not a finance violation for a businessman to settle this nuisance claim and write it off as, or I guess book it as a legal expense.
So do you think they actually met?
They probably met.
Well,
I would assume they met at the.
Question.
Yeah.
There's a picture with them, not AI.
Yeah.
Do you think that she ended up back in his hotel room?
I can't say. I don't know if, I just don't think she's credible.
Do you think he cut her a check?
Oh, yeah. He cut her a check.
So
but a lot of times...
Why would he cut her a check?
A lot of times when
nothing ever happened in the hotel room.
When things come forward like this, it happens time and time again. We've seen it where rich people just write a check to make it go away.
And that's the reason why a lot of the time people leverage these allegations in the first place, even when they're not substantiated, because they see it as an easy meal ticket, as an easy check.
Yes.
So, that's not to discredit the people who actually go through those things, but oftentimes that can be the motivation for people.
Okay. Because I have a checklist of, I think, likely that happened, pretty likely, unlikely, definitely unlikely. That's where I'm at. But I won't reveal that now. I want to get it from you guys. Laura, do you actually think she went back to his hotel room? Do you think they actually had sex?
So, I don't think the man is a faithful man. We've seen that in his past. But what I do think he is...
And you're a Trump fan.
Yeah, I'm not like super crazy MAGA, but over Biden, he's the clear candidate. So...
by the way, this is not even politics right now.
I know.
I just want to state what you think actually happened. Forget about voting. We'll get there in a second.
That's what I was doing before you made it about MAGA. Okay. So I don't think he is a faithful man because he obviously has had indiscretions in his past.
Yep.
So I'm not talking anything about his moral character. But what he is smart. I don't think he would just do something so stupid. I agree to all your points that he would probably just pay this problem to go away. But what is really interesting is that she said it wasn't for finances that she came out, it was for fear. I just don't get what she would be afraid of. And maybe I'm clueless, naive, ignorant, but can you enlighten me on what she could possibly be afraid of by holding this information? What other than financial would be the reason for saying this thing? What could she be scared of?
Do you know what FOMO is?
Yes, I do.
FOMO, fear of missing out.
So that's the only thing? Is
fear of missing out on all the publicity that comes with basically going to trial, the first actual trial of a president.
Well, I don't think
that's
that was
what she would fear.
Okay, well, I thought there was like a legitimate fear that she could have been talking to, but I do think obviously it was completely financial, the way that she's been milking it for all that it's worth.
Laura, you're a wife.
I am.
You're a mother. You ready for this question?
How would I feel?
Put yourself in Melania's shoes.
Oh no!
When this leaks, walk me through that.
Horrible.
Okay.
I think about a lot. She goes through so much. Honestly, that woman does not get enough credit for being as graceful as she is through all of the allegations and all that. There's one side of it where she totally knew what she was signing up for because he was all these things before they got married, so she knew that. But it definitely sucks to hear it. And then the timeline that you just laid out, like a few months after you have a kid, that could possibly go through your mind. Whether you want to believe it or you don't, all the doubts that it makes you feel and all the insecurity. It's zero fun. Obviously, it tarnishes her name as well. And she's just such like a classy, beautiful woman. Like when the way she presents herself and all the smut just don't align to me. And I hate that she has to be associated with this. Again, her own fault because it's a bed that she made and now she's got to lay in it because she knew this going in. But is she deserving? I don't know, but I do think it sucks for her, and I feel bad that she has to go through it all.
Brandon, you're a dude.
Sure am.
That's right. When I was walking you through this, you kind of were like, "That's right, get him, Trump." Likelihood, odds that she ended up back in his hotel room in 2006.
I'd say over 50%.
Well, that's it, just 50.
No, so I said over 50%, definitely. So yeah, I would, if I had to, pick one or the other, I'd say yes.
Okay. Do you think she actually
that they
had sex with him?
Yeah, I think they did.
What are the odds of that?
High, probably 75%.
So it's only a little over 50.
Well, no, if she went into his hotel room, if she went into the hotel room, I mean, there's a 75% chance they hooked. What else were they going to be doing in there?
She went to his hotel room.
That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Done deal.
Definitely.
Okay.
What else would they be doing? Playing checkers? Like
exactly.
Yeah. Yahtzee.
He was modeling his silky pajamas.
That's right.
I mean,
We're talking business.
What are the odds that a check was cut for $130,000 for whatever reason?
The hush money?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably likely, but I just think it's hilarious that with all the things that they're trying to do, that's the best they can come up with that they're trying to pin him on is like he wrote a check for her to just be like, all right, shut up. Like, yeah, we hooked up. Stop talking about it. Just make the headache go away. Because we've heard rich people say before, like, that's just like it's so much more convenient to be able to write a check and make the problem go away instead of having to take the time to deal with it. So yeah, I think that happened, but I think it's hilarious that that's the best they can come up with, the millions of dollars of government resources they're spending on trying to get him on something.
Does he get his money back now?
Right? He should.
She had to spend as much money as she even received, allegedly,
didn't he sue
for
her?
on legal fees. Correct.
And she got sued by him, too.
Correct.
Yeah, so she might end up owing money now, which is funny.
But listen, as Trump called her horse face, Stormy Daniels, listen, what happens to porn stars after 40, 45?
Tanks.
You never hear from them again.
No.
Maybe they start doing gilf porn, who knows? But this woman would be irrelevant. So this is the best thing that would ever happen to her career. And honestly, one of the worst things that happened to Trump's career. Ironically, not the worst thing that happened to Trump's career. Amy, I know when we were speaking earlier, like, why this? Why that? Why would they do this? I don't understand. What's happening right now? What questions do you have?
I mean, I should probably be a little bit more familiar with this case, but I'm really just not, because I kind of look at it from the same perspective as Brandon. Like, for all of the money and resources that the opposition have against him, if they were to go through anybody else's life with a fine-tooth comb, I'm sure they'd find way more dirt. So I just haven't even really looked into it. I've kind of dismissed it as incredulous. But my question would be, so if there is hush money, right? And apparently the issue, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brendan, but wasn't it like taken from different campaign money and things of that nature. If he paid a check for like 130 grand, why didn't he just take it out of his own funds? And why was it only 100 grand? That's my question.
130.
Like, if he really wanted to shut up, like, why was it?
Well, great questions. Let me give you my response. Do you want to weigh in on just general thoughts?
No, go ahead.
So here's where I'm at with this. Because let's reverse this. Imagine that he never even hooked up with this woman, and she never went back to his hotel room. Just imagine how salacious and scandalous and just straight up dirty that would be. Okay?
Yeah.
But you tell me, you guys are all informed. I haven't heard Trump or his legal team saying they never met.
Right.
This wasn't a thing. Okay? I've never heard that. So I'm going on probabilities here. Here's the probabilities and likelihood. Tear my argument apart. Did they meet? 100%. There's a photo. Show the photo. Did she go back to his hotel room? She's a porn star.
Yeah.
He's on the road. He's Donald Trump. Highly likely she went back to his hotel room. Now, this is weird. I'm even talking about it. Melania was pregnant. He's not even, getting nookie. Is that a dirty move on his end? I'll let the ladies figure this out. But he probably was like, well, Trump got to do Trump.
That's terrible.
And it's fucked up. Not president, though.
But she married a billionaire, though.
She married a billionaire. She kind of knew what she was doing. Look,
Wait. Money does not equal degenerate. I mean, now again, Trump
you
did
calling
ha-
Trump a degenerate?
No,
behavior.
no.
But you know what
that
you're
wasn't
signing
what
up
he
for to a
said.
degree
What
with
he
him.
said is billionaire equals degenerate. What I'm saying is
Okay.
Trump
No.
had his past, but it's not she married a billionaire, he's gonna cheat.
Yeah.
That's
No, but you have
not
to have some degree of expectation of what you're marrying into on somebody who left a past wife and
that
then
part.
already has money.
Agreed.
Multiple
That
wives.
agreed.
So you
That was
can't
my
act like
point.
you're shocked by it if
No,
you're going,
agreed.
Sure.
That's that, but not billionaire equals degenerate. No,
Yeah.
I would not
No.
say that.
I honestly am a little bit more inclined to agree with Brandon, and this is where I do catch some heat for some of the more quote-unquote red pill views that I have. I think that the thing that bounds people to their moral and ethical standards is their religion. If somebody is religious, if they truly have a relationship with God and they're led by those values, I think that you can stay on the straight and narrow. But otherwise, if you don't truly have that to guide you and you have the option, that's the difference between a lot of these men who say I'd never cheat and the ones who end up doing it is they have the option.
Yeah.
Not only in some light sense of the word, but there's probably women who are throwing themselves at him, So I
Yes.
think that
But what I'm saying too is that you can be a Christian billionaire. That's what I'm saying. Billionaire does not mean I'm going to marry you, and because you got a lot of money, I got to deal with all the cheating.
I would agree with you on that,
There
yeah.
are some ethical, some are lots, ethical,
let me
wealthy
interject,
men.
Ms. Padrino. Of all the issues that people have with Trump, cheating on his wife is not in anybody's top 10, including yours. So as much as you're like, they don't have to cheat, he probably cheated on his wife.
No,
Yeah.
I don't love
Right.
that he's not. Yeah, it's probably on my top 10. That's not true.
yeah.
But-
Maybe number 9 or 10.
Again, he's not my
But
top
you're married
candidate.
with kids? If you found out that your billionaire husband, president, cheated, you divorcing him?
Yeah.
You mad? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'd probably get a divorce, but
Straight up, one time.
I guess it would depend on the prenup.
It's cheaper to keep her,
Last
y'all.
question. So if
Yeah.
you married somebody who was a billionaire who had left their past wife to be with you, would you be more nervous about that situation rather than that not being the context of them just being a regular person?
I think it would depend on why they cheated. I think that there's
So not
There's
even your
reasons.
billionaire president husband gets a one-time pass? What's happening here?
Harsh.
It's
guys?
not one time though.
One time.
It's not one time though.
Oh, you're
you
saying
know it's
that
not one time.
One
called a
time is
hall
okay,
pass.
I feel like
more than
when
once is
when
not
men
okay.
cheat, they cheat multiple times. It become like you get away with it once, you can do it again. It's
Interesting.
just not
I do
a
think
good.
once a cheater,
it's not,
one-
yeah,
yeah.
it's not a good habit to have. It's just not.
Let me make it clear. Melania knew what she was getting into.
Yeah.
But not because he was rich, because he was previously unfaithful.
Yeah.
So,
Well, no, I'm saying expectation-wise.
Well,
She knew there
having
wasn't
money
any.
also does have a factor. You
Yeah.
also have
Well,
to consider
here's the
that.
final question. All this, bing, bing. Did he cheat? Maybe, probably. Okay, for sure. All right. Liability, criminal, this. The big thing is, should he go to jail?
for cheat.
That's what's potentially happening.
stake here, yeah.
Black Alderman.
So that's where we'll leave this one.
Yeah.
So, Eric Adams, He's the mayor of New York City. I'm not even sure why he's commenting on Donald Trump going to jail. Well, it's actually a good reason, because he's on trial in the state of New York, right?
Yep.
But Eric Adams, quote unquote, said, we are ready for Trump to go to jail. New York City is ready if Trump is jailed. What are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
Okay?
No, they're
Pump
not.
the brakes. So, just the shock, just guys, take a pan out to the screen here for a second. The shocking of a president go to jail, dude, don't treat that so casually, Mayor Adams. Even if it's clickbait, which we'll discuss right now, whether you like Trump, don't like Trump, jail
Yeah.
for the porn star Stormy Daniels thing, falsifying records. What are we talking about here? So here's what he said. Adams said the city officials have discussed the possibility of Trump going to jail for violating the gag order. Don't talk, don't talk. He's talking. He's being fined $1,000 a day. Is that the amount? Do you know?
Yes.
He said, quote unquote, our amazing corrections commissioner is prepared for whatever comes on Rikers Island. You know what Rikers Island is?
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
like a
prison,
hardcore
right?
prison,
Yeah,
right?
hardcore.
Hardcore prison. It's
Can
like
you imagine?
Alcatraz in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Justice Juan Merchan said he would consider a jail sanction. Why? Because Trump has continually violated his gag order, publicly attacking witnesses, people involved in the case, and the makeup of the jury. You're fat, you're stupid, you're ugly, you're fired. We got it. It's Trump. He's talking $1,000 a time. So here's my question to you guys. Multiple questions. Trump is literally facing jail time. By the way, there's 4 trials, right, Brandon?
Yeah. But there's only
But this
one.
is the only one that's ongoing.
The only one that people are, it's sounding like could be anything is the New York real estate one, I believe. The one that they were trying to get him on overvaluing his properties, because
Okay.
all the other ones are pretty much falling apart.
That's actually a 5th trial now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but there's the Mar-a-Lago thing that they're basically delaying.
Yeah.
There's the January 6th thing.
Yeah.
There's the Georgia,
Right.
finally 11,000 votes thing.
Yeah.
Hard to keep up what's going on here. Here's my question, very simply. Josie, how likely is it that Trump, in whatever state, this case in New York, will actually get a fair trial from a jury of his peers? What are your thoughts?
It's not likely at all. New York is one of the captured states of America. And it's saying that they're ready. This is frustrating because they're saying, oh, we're ready to put him in jail. Past presidents are required to have Secret Service. So in order to jail President Trump, they need to build an entire separate wing of a prison, or put him in Mar-a-Lago on house arrest. There's really nothing else you could do. It would be a violation of the 8th Amendment to imprison Secret Service members with him who've done nothing wrong. So it's completely flippant. And I think he's using it kind of as a threat, maybe as a rallying cry for everyone who just wants to see him, burned at the stake. They're not ready to put him in jail. And I think Trump almost is taunting them in a way, like, I dare you to put me in jail, because his numbers would go through the roof.
Great point.
Yeah.
Do you
Josie,
think
could
it'll
I
actually help Trump and his poll numbers if he gets put in jail?
Yeah, I think so.
Really? Why?
Because it's a political prosecution that we're all watching happen before our eyes. So, and that would be just the ultimate political prosecution. And even like the black vote, for instance, the Dems are trying to pander to black people over computers and, that sort of stuff. But really the black people are like, he's being persecuted like we are persecuted. So they're finding it more relatable to Trump now than they did, 8
Trump
years
loves
ago.
the blacks. We all know that.
We all know that.
Amy, what were you going to say?
I just wanted to, firstly, to your point, I've never seen so many people who were like kind of iffy about Trump radicalized after seeing his mugshot. Okay, so that's point number 1.
Yeah.
Point number 2, what did you mean by violation of the 8th Amendment? Could
Cruel
you
and
elaborate
unusual-
on
yes.
that a little bit, please?
Cruel and unusual punishment.
Okay.
So if you were to put innocent men in prison whose responsibility, Trump is by law, by required to have Secret Service.
Yeah.
So you're going to imprison Secret Service in his prison cell with him?
Got you. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Got it. Laura, will Trump get a fair trial? Period.
No, I do think it's impossible. You saw that chick on the street that was like one of the jurors. Like, what do you think of Trump? I am not a fan. Why not? My roommate was immunocompromised during COVID, and he did not deal with that really well. I was like, okay, we're gonna have a bunch of those idiots on the trial, so no. But it's ridiculous because he's done a bunch of nonsense. Yes, the guy is not innocent, but to be talking jail time, I don't know if you saw this recently, but this woman killed her baby. There's been a few of these recently. Killed her baby because she was on drugs and just couldn't stand the crying or who knows what. Literally scot-free. Like, scot-free. Completely fine. That woman, cool. You go do you, boo. You were on drugs. Sorry, that was unfortunate. You killed your kid. Trump does, again, it's like the hush money. It's this kind of stuff. And that is what we're spending, like you said, resources, time, all of this dog and pony show and this circus and all of this mockery of the presidency. It's just, we're just so backwards and upside down.
What do you mean when you
are
said the
out
man
of whack.
is not innocent?
He's not innocent, as in, yes, he has. It said he's a cheater. He's probably done the hush money stuff, like all that kind of stuff. I don't know where the money came from and all those details, and that's what they got to figure out. But I think this is just way too extreme, and obviously it's been inflated, something more minimal. And what we've said, if you dig up dirt on anybody, you're gonna find stuff. So they're digging up everything. They're looking under pillows that aren't even there. And when there's actually real, like, legitimate murders or whatever, all the other people that are going off without any kind of jail time or anything else, not even a slap on the wrist. I think it's just we're an upside down land.
Here's my question, and this is for everyone, because most people on this panel are likely to vote for Trump, maybe an RFK. I don't know if anybody's voting for Biden. We'll find out. What could Trump do that could possibly lose your vote?
Okay, by lose you mean that means I would.
You're like, I'm voting for Biden.
That I would vote for Biden?
Yes.
What could he do?
Yes.
What could he do? While I'm sleeping, lobotomize me? I don't know. What he could do is render me unconscious. Somebody takes my hand and scratches and bites me.
Nothing.
Versus Biden?
Right.
I don't think Biden is a viable candidate.
Is there anything Trump can do to lose your vote? Would you vote for RFK? Would you vote for Biden? Is there anything Trump would do?
I guess RFK over Biden.
Well, I had considered RFK, and I'm a libertarian. I'm going to the D.C. convention at the end of the month. So there are candidates.
Who's the libertarian candidate this year?
They're selecting it there.
Okay.
So the
That's
delegates.
never a good sign when we don't even know who the candidate is.
The delegates are
and the
selected
election's
there.
in 6 months.
Yeah.
Not a good sign, Libertarian Party.
The delegates
Well,
select
you had Jo Jorgensen. She killed it.
She was terrible. So the candidates are selected by delegates there, and the vice president is also selected by delegates there. So, on the off chance that my vice presidential pick and my presidential pick there get selected, then I'd vote for them.
Do they do this every year?
Yeah,
I mean, every 4 years.
Every
like
4
this?
years, yeah, that's how they do it.
Horrible situation. Think about it.
That's why they get 1%
At the end
of
of
the
May.
vote.
Josie,
At the end of
How is the Libertarian Party ever going to do anything
From
when we're
May-
literally
May to
talking about
November.
the election as we speak? It's about to be June.
Well,
and
Donald
we
Trump-
don't even know who the candidate is. Horrible.
Donald
Horrible.
Trump and RFK are both speaking at that convention, so it's definitely taking off. They're definitely either trying
but
to.
they're not running for the Libertarian
I know
candidacy.
I know, but they are. So that will be an opportunity for libertarians to ask, why did you run the debt up? Why didn't you do anything about the Federal Reserve? Why did you handle COVID the way that you handled COVID? And I'd like to ask RFK why he came out and said why he thinks women should be able to have abortions right through their 40th week of pregnancy this morning.
Okay.
He said that this morning?
This morning or last night? Yep.
Wow.
RFK said that.
RFK said that, so
Okay,
he
so
is
remember
off
when I
my
said
list.
maybe
let's
RFK?
This is
stay on
good
topic
news.
here.
Though.
But
Well,
yeah.
not good news,
You
but
asked-
it's
What
anyone
would
who is
lose-
scared of it taking away from
It's the
Donald Trump's
brainworms.
vote, it helps with that.
No,
I
but you
would
just
assume.
said what would lose my vote for Trump, and I was like, Biden, no chance. And then I was like, maybe RFK, but I was like, don't love where he stands with that. If he just said that today,
He just said that today.
Yeah, then
completely,
okay.
completely off my list.
Okay,
for that.
so
abortion thing.
MAGA,
So let-
MAGA, Trump
We're
train
going
all
to
the
table the
way.
abortion thing for a second.
Okay, because he doesn't like like that.
Brandon, is there anything Trump can do to lose your vote?
No,
Anything.
especially not against Biden, but even not against anybody else who's in the pool right now. Because I mean, the fact that he's a fighter and actually calling out the establishment, and who's done that before in the past? You know, people have started to do it a little bit since he came in, but you know, I respect.
Natalia, is there anything Trump could do to lose your vote?
I mean, go against his word. Like, if he completely switches what he stands for, I would completely.
You met Donald Trump. I mean, he
Okay.
kind of flip-flops on some things.
Okay, but
Politics.
would you vote for a Biden?
No.
If he did. If he,
No, I vote for Trump.
So that's what the question is.
Amy, is there anything Trump could do to lose your vote?
No, looking at the candidates and the options right now, there really isn't anything that I can think of.
Murder. If Trump murdered somebody, you'd still vote for him?
Depending on the situation.
Yeah, literally.
Because he felt like it.
No, you're being.
like a serial.
Guys, I'm being bombastic here.
Yeah.
I get
There
it.
If
has
he
to be
murdered somebody, he
something.
would be obviously.
What if he embezzled billions of dollars?
are we
He
not-
embezzled money.
No, but real talk. In
Yes.
that case,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
enough
voting.
for me.
He was investigated. He was investigated
You're so
more
funny.
intricately than anybody in the history of the United States over the last 8 years. And what have they found? Oh, he might have had a little pulled some hush money out of the wrong account. We gotta, go after that. He hasn't done anything, so he would have to now do something.
Completely change, completely
he's
step
not
outside his
murdered
character.
somebody.
Like,
By
do
the way,
something.
if
So
I
the
had a
only
bunch
way-
of Biden voters here, and I was like, is there anything Biden could
Yeah,
do?
same
Or
thing.
is there anything that Trump could do to earn your vote? No way, no way, no. I'm like, nothing? Guys, like, if Trump murdered, raped, pillaged,
Well, yeah.
embezzled,
Pedophilia.
and
take
he-
him out.
Here's
he
the thing,
still
Adam.
has your vote.
No.
Pedophilia.
What's going on here?
Pedophilia.
Listen,
That
look,
would
he
do
does
it.
all those things. Fine, I'm not voting for him, but I'm not voting for Biden. That's what I want to tell you.
Yeah.
No matter what happens,
I'd stay home.
I'm not ever voting
so-
for
and here-
Biden.
RFK
You wouldn't
doesn't
even be
play
able
for you?
to.
No, not after if
Nope.
he just said
we'll
that.
get
just
to
said
it.
that.
Because
RFK
he says something about abortion, guys.
Yep.
Think about it this way.
That's
though. Think
a
about,
big
like,
deal.
What situations
deal.
the least amount of people get hurt? Even if he did do something that's crazy, a crime, unthinkable, whatever. Think about how many more people are getting hurt and suffering because of Biden being president.
Seriously,
here's where it
There's
may
a
be
world-
immigration
there's a
alone.
world
What
of
if he
guys in
murdered
America.
somebody, Brandon?
Yeah.
Brandon, if he
Guys,
also
I
murdered
totally
somebody,
understand.
like,
I'm
But
just seeing the
millions of people are
threshold.
being murdered because of Biden's leadership. You know, the wars across the world.
yeah,
would
but
be
just
going
because
on.
that a million people are being murdered doesn't mean that it's okay that Trump does it.
I'm saying if you look at it from a philosophy standpoint, the least amount of people getting hurt, less people would be getting hurt right now if,
But
if
then
Trump was
you
still
gotta think,
president.
like,
Trump
what are your
didn't
values?
start
What do you
any
stand
new
for? You're
wars.
okay
For
for
the-
a murderer
what's good
to
for the
lead
most amount of
also?
people.
You
That's what I
also
stand
want to
for.
be
Hold on.
realistic.
Where the least amount
Really
of
quick.
people
So
get
when
hurt.
I was saying that there's nothing he could do, I was referring to more so things that he could do in his personal life, things that people would judge in his personal life, which I really respect Laura's opinion on this, because although he's done things that don't align with your values, you're like, no, that's wrong, he's a cheater, he's this, that, and the other, you still recognize common sense policies, and you're able to put what is common sense over your emotions about how you may feel about a particular situation. Now, if he went out there and he murdered someone, that would say a lot more about his character, about his impulses, his mental conditioning, right? I'm talking more so from the sense of like cheating, doing something, that would be deemed scandalous in the public eye. There's nothing that could change my vote in that sense, because people need to think logically when it comes to voting and who's running this country versus emotionally.
And
Yeah, there you
honestly,
go.
I want to
Yeah.
make this super clear. He is not my top choice. I agree with everybody when they say he's not presidential. I wish he would shut up on the tweet things. All those kind of things. I am not somebody that's like, he mean tweets, so I'm not going to vote for him. I'm not that, because I'm not stupid, and have common sense. But yes, I wish there was somebody definitely more presidential. There were definitely people running that I was way more for than him. But if you're asking Trump versus Biden, I will never vote for Biden.
Okay. Guys, spirited debate. Last question to this, real quick. Let's say, guys, I just wanted to see how extreme
Yeah.
it would have to be for you to switch. None of you guys are switching. I get it. Cool. You're talking to somebody, everyone knows my story. I've never voted for a Republican in my life up until now, and I'm like, I cannot condone what the Democratic Party stands for. I'm a JFK guy, even a Clinton guy, a populist kind of guy. But what the Democratic Party stands for at this point is so beyond what I would ever even imagine it could be. Ridiculous. The woke stuff, the trans stuff, the debt, the borders, it's
border.
beyond me. But at some point, everybody has to be like, yeah, I don't get, I'm not a loyalist to anyone, to any party. You have to be willing to kind of look at it. But clearly,
Same.
people are not willing to abandon Trump. I get it. Here's my question. What will, in your opinion, Trump loyalists do if he's jailed for whatever crime? What do you think they would do? And how much worse would it be than January 6th? Josie.
I honestly, if you look at the protests scene since January 6th, there's been a cooling effect. Nobody is coming out at all. So I almost don't think that they would do very much at all because they're still arresting people. They're showing up at doors.
So you think people have been feared?
Yeah.
And they brought fear into people, and they won't protest if he ends up in jail.
So. Yeah.
Does anybody disagree with Josie?
I think it's an all or nothing thing, but I don't think that would happen if he went to jail, because I think it would be largely optics. But I think the protesting is an all or nothing thing, where it'd have to be something so crazy that everybody does it at once, or nobody's gonna do it at all. Because like you said, everybody's afraid because of that, and I think that was the exact intention of what they let happen on January 6th.
Okay, Amy, what do you think will happen if he goes to jail?
Is he still allowed to run for? Is he still allowed to be president from jail?
Yes, he is.
Then I don't think they would do anything. I think he would speak to people in a very common sense way. Hey, I'm going to serve this time. Don't cause any more disruption. We're about to clean up this country. I think that's what he would say if he could still run from
Natalia,
jail.
what do you think?
If he goes to jail?
What his loyalists will do?
I really don't know, honestly. I feel like he would run and, let people decide where they stand. I don't think he would. I don't know. I feel like he would approach it in a very logical, sensible way to.
Are we talking about Donald Trump here, guys? Laura, what do you think?
I think he wants
Trump
that to happen,
loyalists
Adam.
would do?
Yeah.
If he
Adam,
would-
is it a liberal?
I think he wants that to happen to me. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with Amy. If it's all just optics and it actually just plays itself out and it just feels like maybe a different publicized campaign, let's say, then it might play out like that. I don't know which way they would go. I do think that the loyalists are out of control, though. The MAGA diehards that are willing to do anything. Mind you, I don't think January 6th was 9/11.
Actual insurrection?
I think people blow it up or whatever. I think it was stupid because it just gave us a bad look. And by us, I mean anybody on the right. I don't mean us because, again, I'm not MAGA. But I do think that they need to just calm down a little bit, be a little bit more rational. Because even though I'm saying Trump could do anything and I wouldn't vote for Biden, Trump could kill somebody and I would still run up to him, hug him, and want him to tattoo my forehead.
Stop it.
Yeah, no. People, the MAGA people are really freaky MAGA.
It's Jesus, Trump, and maybe not even in that order.
No.
What
They're
happens-
Trump Jesus for sure.
What happens if he actually goes to prison and can't run? What would happen?
Oh, the world would go crazy.
Actual
World would go
protest-wise?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I
they
think
go
they
crazy.
would. I think they'd go a little nutty. Hopefully that they did
Oh, they
learn
go
that.
nutty.
Look, hey, the law doesn't favor you MAGA folk, so maybe tamper it down.
I think the Supreme Court will take care of anything that gets too crazy, because I think the whole taking him off the ballot thing, when they mentioned that was a lot scarier to people than the whole concept of him going to jail. Because I think he largely wants them to arrest him. That's why he's violating the gag order. He's like, yeah, I dare you to freaking arrest me. Same thing with
There's a
the
difference in going to jail and going to the jail and can't run for the president.
Yeah,
Let me
there's
say
two
one
difference.
thing.
Yes.
If he can't run,
Oh yeah.
people
Yes.
Are
Trump
gonna lose
loyalists
their mind.
will lose
Yeah.
their mind.
Yeah.
I lose my mind.
I can't believe you guys don't. I mean,
No, yeah.
Say
come on,
yes.
guys.
No, 'cause
I
that's
say
what-
yes.
You
I
said
just hope
that.
that they don't do anything stupid that make us look.
They will.
Yeah, I know.
So those are two different things,
This
though.
is,
The premise
I
of
fully
what
agree
I
with
said
you.
was based on the fact that he could still
Yeah.
run.
The reason that he
Go ahead,
can
Josie.
he can run for president if he's in jail, and he can run for president in every state, as the Supreme Court ruled unanimously, which doesn't happen very often that he could do that, because what they were trying to do is they were trying to charge him with the 14th Amendment, the fifth clause in the 14th Amendment. They were trying to say that
Caused the
he caused an insurrection. However, the only people who are able to say that he caused the insurrection is the Congress, and he was impeached, but then he was acquitted, and so that was ruled out already, that he didn't do it, according to the people who could say that he did it. And so the fact that it's written in the Constitution of who can do it, that says that only Congress can do it. So the 10th Amendment would say, if it doesn't say that Congress can do it, then that would be a state's right. Since it says that Congress can do it, it's not a state's right. So that's why he can be on the ballot everywhere. And there's no rule that says if anybody was convicted that he's not an officer, which is what's written in there to be able to run for the president. he would be on the ballot. There's no rule saying if any president goes to jail or if any person goes to jail, they can't be president. There's no rule. They are trying to pass one in order to do it retroactively, but nothing is standing right now.
Well, great talk, guys. Quick stats for you. Trump supporters, they were polled. If Trump went to jail, would he still have your vote? Here's some numbers for you.
Yeah.
80% would 100% still vote for him. 80% or 100%.
Yeah.
4% would not, very small margin. 16% would reconsider. So that's where that is. So most of these people, that's not it. Most of these people are riding with Trump regardless. So that 80%, he can do no wrong. So we'll see what happens with Trump.
And that's based on this case?
Yes, that's based on this case. Or no, jail overall.
Okay.
So that's what's going on there. All right. Let's get into some trust. Who do you trust more? Who's going to be better on certain issues? This is what we're going to handle right now. Trump, Biden, RFK, who's going to handle the issues better? And the 5 twists that could shake up the election. Let's start with the 5 twists that can shake up the election. I want to know what you think is the most likely, and then we'll get into some of the key issues that are affecting Americans. Here are the 5 twists that could shake up the election before November. Bum, ba-da-da. Number 1, this is from a Hill article. Number 1, health concerns for Biden and Trump. Interesting. You didn't see that one coming. Biden, who is 81 years old, and Trump, who will be 78 on Election Day, are the two oldest presumptive are the nominees in U.S. history. So that's number 1. Remember that. Health concerns. Okay? Number 2, a wider international conflict breaks out. We see what's going around the world right now
That didn't already
with
happen.
Russia and Ukraine, with with Israel and Hamas. What could potentially happen? Think about it.
Anything.
Russia maybe invades a NATO country. We'll see. Iran gets involved. They already kind of have.
Yep.
China, Taiwan.
Yep.
Who knows what the hell can happen out there? U.S. troops getting involved somewhere. Public opinion shifting. These are the types of things that can affect an election. 2 very likely things so far. Number 3, a third-party candidate like RFK gets involved, shakes up the election. Perfect. Number 4, the economy experiences a downturn or a recession or even a mass improvement. That's potential. So unemployment's at close to record lows, 3.5%, going up a little bit. Inflation still low but sticking around, 3.5%. The Fed's goal is what, Brandon? 2%?
They were saying, well, for inflation, that's their goal every year.
Right. But they said that they're not going to touch interest rates. They're sticking with it.
They were promising 3 all year, but now they're kind of backtracking on that bit.
And then number 5, which we just discussed in the previous segment, Trump being convicted or even acquitted of the New York case because they don't believe that any other cases are going to wrap up or even start before this summer. So of these 5 things, health concern, more war, RFK takes away votes from one of the candidates, the economy, downturn, or Trump being acquitted or even convicted, what do you think is the most likely shakeup of the election? Brandon?
Definitely RFK 100%. And I say this because if you look at the data from when Trump ran against Hillary, the biggest difference between that election and the 2020 election was that third-party candidates voted more, or there was a bigger turnout for the third party, taking away the Hillary vote compared to 2020. Less people voted, or the protest vote for Biden instead of being a protest vote. So I think he's going to pull more from RFK, and especially because, and I think that's why RFK said what you said this morning, because Trump did something very smart, which I've been advocating he does for a long time, which he said 4 months is a good agreement for abortion nationally, because it's pretty messed up to do it later than that, but 70% of the country thinks that it's reasonable to do it within 4 months, and barring health concerns being the only exception after that.
So you're saying RFK is the biggest potential shakeup in this election. Laura, what do you think?
Let me have the list.
Health concerns.
Health concerns?
War. RFK. Economy. Trump goes to jail or is acquitted.
Health concerns are that one's only going to be in his favor. I mean, Biden is literally a zombie.
Deteriorating.
Yeah, he's a Weekend at Bernie's. That's a joke. Trump, as old as he is a beast. I know from private intel, somebody that was like security when he was campaigning here. The guy is an absolute like beast. Like, wheel a TV into this room. He just watches the news constantly and like sleeps like 4 hours.
Yeah.
The stuff about the next one was like what happens like globally in terms of
Which
war.
is the number one on your list?
I'm gonna go one by one. The what happens globally also can only help him because he is way better at all foreign obviously anybody feels safer and stronger with him behind the wheel than with Biden. Again, Biden's a zombie. Give me
Okay.
RFK.
I just asked for the one that you think is going to
I'm
be
going
not
through
a breakdown of all five.
I'm going through
Holy
point by
shit, Patrina, host the show. Go
Told
ahead.
you. I don't want to host anything. I just want to tell you. The economy, once again, the same as foreign policy. Trump is 1,000 times better. And these are things that I think are pretty unanimously really obvious and everybody's super aware of this. The case, that's what we just talked about, that's only going to help fire him up. And then RFK, I think he's going to pull.
Thank you for that
I think he's
breakdown,
going to pull.
Katrina.
The point is, it's all helps
So it's all
Trump.
five.
I think it's all helps
Way
Trump.
to stand
all
your
that-
ground and pick all five, Patrina.
all of the, because it's true.
Hey, you're keeping it clean today. I'm proud of you. That's my girl. Patrina's Cuban, best Cuban food at all of Miami. When you ask for one dish, they give you all five. Done.
Amazing.
Josie, what's the number one thing of these five things
So
that
annoying.
could shake up the election?
Well, I think that a lot of things we already have happening right now,
That's what I'm
and the
saying.
election is
Yeah.
already going in a certain direction. Like, we've pretty much been in a recession since we went to back-to-back quarters at minus 1.5. And then they changed the definition of recession so that we weren't in one anymore. So
Well, we're not in a recession now.
Oh yeah, we're done
That
now.
was
But we
a
were
year-
we
it was a
went
year ago.
through. Yes, we went through
That was
one.
2023, Q1, Q2. you're
Come
talking about.
out
And then they
Yes,
promised
exactly.
rate cuts, which
They-
boosted the
yeah,
market.
Exactly. So you know we've handled that, and that didn't really shake anything up.
Sure.
I think RFK, the third party, is we've seen that.
Okay, so
we've
go ahead. Sorry, finish your
Sorry,
statement.
we've seen a third party shake things up on a state level.
Ooh.
When it comes to even senators, you know.
Well,
I have a
So-
question.
Sure.
Do any of you guys know? Like, let's say we actually officially go into World War III. Is the United States even able to complete the election? Are
Yes.
they able to elect
Yeah.
a president in the midst of World War III?
Yes,
Yeah, I mean-
they elected a president during the Civil War.
Okay, but
Yeah.
I mean a world war. There's a difference. Isn't there
Yeah.
a difference between when a world war is occurring? I thought
It won't
that
be-
something halts the election process.
It won't be boots on the ground here, and it was boots on the ground during the Civil War, and they still did it. So yeah,
No,
they
like-
could try. They could try to say, "Oh no, this is a catastrophe. We can't have an election." That's what I think in Ukraine they were like, "Oh no, can't hold elections in our democratic state while we arrest
Yeah.
journalists and close churches."
Right.
But I don't think even a world war would prevent the voting because they, you know what they
Okay.
do? Mail-in ballots all around for everybody. So that would work
we
in
already
there.
There was.
planned for this. The pandemic already prepped us for all this. We're just going to have more dead people voting and more mail-in.
More dead people voting.
More mail-in ballots. I mean, we've already prepared
Guys,
for
welcome
this.
to
That's what
SOSCAST
2020 was
Conspiracy
about.
Edition. Let's just stay in reality for a second.
Oh,
boy.
because that
Oh,
wasn't that.
I'm just saying, this is the top five.
Adam, there's still some hardcore
Okay.
lib in you. Ew.
I'm
I
staying-
feel it. It's
trying to
coming
stay-
out tonight.
I'm asking
okay?
what's going on. This one goes, so World War III. Let's talk.
She was asking a
It's a
legitimate
really,
question.
that's honestly a very legitimate
We have-
question because
yes.
that has halted elections
It does.
previously in other
we
countries.
have Russia
Informative
and
show.
Ukraine drama. We have China and Taiwan drama. You know, then we have the U.S. paying for all of it on both sides because you know they always want to come out on top. So
Facts.
and then we have the petrodollar that we're dealing with on top of that with the BRICS alliance that are you know trying to overpower that with the yen, and they're getting close. They're getting some of our allies like Saudi Arabia and Japan to be able to get on board with them instead of the dollar. So the dollar is fading, and the dollar was like the global currency, and now that's fading very fast. So World War III is not completely out of
It's not super
reality.
conspiracy.
Guys, if I may.
Thanks, Josie.
I'm fully
You're
aware
welcome.
because I'm the one that put together these top five lists for us to discuss, which had war, money, economy, and conflict all in it. So I'm kind of aware that war could justify a shakeup or the BRICS or the petrodollar. I'm with you guys. But I think the most common answer was a third-party candidate. That's what we talked about.
We're just trying to gauge how lib you are.
I'm as moderate and as not tied to any one particular party as humanly possible.
Wow.
You guys just admitted Trump could rape, steal, pillage, do anything. He's like, that's my president. I'm just saying there's boundaries here
No, yeah,
for
we didn't say
everyone.
that.
We did not say that.
Yeah. By the way, it's very cute how you make us look psycho just to
Exactly, that's
cover
my job.
up to cover up how you're just not a loyal
Typical
person.
90s
Okay.
Democrat.
Yeah.
I'm loyal to who?
See what
Loyal to who? So loyal
Josie
to
with
who? What'd
her
you say?
I said typical 90s Democrat.
Yeah.
90s Democrat, but some of us are living in reality, not in the past. Thank you. Get back in the kitchen, Josie.
I could wreck you from the kitchen.
Good. Get the cook.
Yo, Josie got him out on her.
I want
She
you
is
to
so
stay in the kitchen.
soft-spoken, but
We're on
she
the
got him
same
out.
page here. I don't want to be in the kitchen. Dap you
funny.
up. There she
So
is.
funny.
No, I'm great at ordering Uber Eats. Shout out to Uber. Thought it was this segment is. So, but here's my point.
Okay.
If I can hone in on this,
Yep.
the one thing that can probably shake up this election more than anything is RFK.
Okay.
Yes.
This third-party candidate. He's the most viable third-party candidate we've
had,
seen
yeah.
since 1992. Ross Perot. Any
Yeah.
objections here?
No, can I?
Thank you. But what do you want to say?
I want to add why
Yes.
he's so valuable, why
Yes.
he's different, because he is appealing to the major issues in all the parties. So for the Democrats, he's appealing to gun control and abortion. For the Republicans, he's Israel. For the Libertarians,
Glabach,
exactly, and for the Libertarians, he is abolish the alphabet agencies.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why he's drawing from each of those parties, and that's why he's so.
Fully agree. We're on the
Is he
same
super
page
sure,
here.
Look at
by the
us.
way, on the, I think he just came out saying like the trans thing, but he wasn't super sure about it a little while ago.
What did he say about the trans thing?
That he wasn't fully like when he was here, he wasn't super sure about how he felt with like that whole trans issue. I think he's coming more like strong now, but I don't know if that's like his like top. I think conservatives more like don't force me to stick a needle in my arm. That's what people I think like on the right
Well,
like about him.
Yes.
Whatever the issue is, and we'll talk about what the Americans' most pressing issues are, he's a viable candidate that is going to shake up this election one way or another and can sway the election in Biden or in Trump's favor. By the way, did you see what Trump had to say about RFK?
Yeah, that he's like nothing. He's like, who is
Yeah.
he? He's nothing to worry about. Which I do think that
Roll
was
the video.
I think that was a little bit of a stretch. That was a little arrogant.
The audio at the top.
With
Look, RFK is polling very low. He's
Refresh it. Let's hear this one
not
more
a
time. You
serious
can pull up the article while
candidate.
you're
They say
doing
he
that.
hurts Biden. I don't know. who
Guys,
he
I
hurts.
can't
He
hear the
might hurt
audio.
me. I don't know. But he has very low
You want me to
numbers.
put the
Yeah,
article
just
up?
refresh it.
Refresh it? Okay.
So,
And the audio at the top.
Look, RFK is polling very low. He's not a serious candidate. They say he hurts Biden. I don't know who he hurts. He might hurt me. I don't know. But he has very low numbers, certainly not numbers that he can debate with. And he's got to get his numbers up a lot higher before he's credible. But the numbers that he's taken away, they say will be against Biden. I don't know. I'm not so sure. It could be a little bit against me. But I don't see him as a factor. RFK, I don't know anything about him.
there it was right
RFK
there.
is polling.
RFK, I don't know anything about him.
the question was, would he
Yes.
debate him?
Correct.
Which I think Cuomo might have said this on PBD that was very tactical. Him actually taking that question because I do think that he thinks that it'll affect him. So he's like downplaying that he's a factor and probably wouldn't want to debate him because the fact is, I mean, Trump's not the most articulate guy out there, and RFK could probably defend himself a little bit better. But I mean, still, Trump with
I mean, when it comes
Biden.
down to who's a more impactful speaker, would you really find RFK to be a more impactful speaker and communicator versus Trump? I mean, I honestly,
they might be comparable in different ways because they both. I think RFK is like more articulate. He knows his thoughts. Like, 'cause I think Trump could be like redundant, and even in that, he's like, I don't know which side he's gonna hurt more. I don't know which side he's gonna hurt more. He just like kind of. He's not great on that, but he's clear.
He can talk to people at a third grade level.
Yeah.
RFK is very smart, but he has a voice that doesn't translate
it
really.
doesn't
You know,
help
that's
him.
not his fault. But he did
Yes.
reach out to Donald Trump on X and request that he debate him at the Libertarian convention, which they'll both be at, which would have been pretty cool, especially if you got a
Do you
Libertarian.
want to see that? Do you
candidate.
think that would help Trump or hurt Trump too?
I
Hurt.
don't
think that would
know.
hurt him because of where they oppose on the vaccine, because Trump is standing by his Operation Warp Speed,
Yeah.
and RFK is like, this killed people.
Well,
Yeah.
here are some numbers for you guys. I think we have this on an article. Right now, here's the head-to-head national polls, if you can punch in. Trump is up by a slim margin. By the way, he was up by 2 to 4 points prior to Biden's State of the Union address. Now, what do those numbers say? 41 to 40?
Yeah, to 40.
Close election. These are national polls in swing states, which is the most important: Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, Pennsylvania. Trump is polling a little bit better. That's what it's going to come down to. But it's pretty damn close here.
But what are we saying
by
that
the
if
way,
Kennedy's not there?
that is just Trump versus Biden.
Right.
But we're talking about what RFK can do. Do you have the numbers of what it's going to look like with RFK in the mix? All of a sudden,
Give me a second.
Trump, who leads Biden by a point or two, with 5 candidates, because it's not just RFK, it's who else?
Well, it's if a libertarian gets it, we don't know.
Libertarian, not existent. They're not even a candidate. Who else?
Green Party?
Green Party. Who's the candidate?
No
Jill
idea.
Stein
Jill
probably.
Stein.
Yep.
Who's
Again.
constantly polling.
So they
at
do.
2%.
They usually are
And you have
get
Cornel
1 or
West.
2% of the vote.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's
Yeah.
how much?
1 or 2% of the vote, and that can be a game changer
Check
with
this
that.
out right
but
here.
isn't that polling anyway?
How
from
the
Biden?
race shifts in a multi-field compared to a binary. Again, everyone's talking about Trump versus Biden, Trump versus Biden. Trump's winning right now. But if you factor in RFK and his give or take 12 to 15%, if you factor in Jill Stein constantly taking 2%, Cornel West taking a point or two, what happens here, guys? Biden, who's in blue, he was losing. You see 44 versus 46. Trump was up 2. He is now up 2 when RFK and other candidates are in the race. Guys, the race is always too close to call.
Yeah.
But just look at the numbers, guys.
That was a
Yeah, but
1,000
those-
voters that I just looked
Yeah,
at.
but
It was
those
1,000 voters with a 3.1 differential. That's not exactly a reliable poll.
That's
point
exactly
is
what I was
this.
going to say.
Yeah.
That's not. I don't.
The whole conversation is, does RFK answer this? Does RFK help or hurt Trump, Josie?
If I were to look at the poll, that's not that great. He would hurt him in that regard, but so would
Okay.
the other candidates. But the third parties, as I said, usually do have that effect.
Gotcha.
And yeah, so they can hurt the good guys.
That's probably what's going to happen here. So, by the way, did you think RFK has any chance to win this election?
No.
Oh God, no.
Has an
Absolutely not.
independent ever won in the history of the United States?
George
in
Washington.
the history
Well,
of
yeah.
the world.
I mean,
George Washington?
the
Teddy
Republicans-
Roosevelt, when he did the Bull Moose thing, what happened
He
there?
didn't win there.
Okay, but it was
Yeah, he ran.
he
as a
was
third-
already president, then he ran as
He was like a strategic candidate to help
Okay.
somebody else win.
yeah, there were the Democratic Republicans, there were the Whigs, there were a bunch of parties before there were the Democrats and the
them
Republicans.
Wiggers.
Okay.
So, last thing with this. Who do Americans trust more on certain issues? Let's get into these numbers real quick. This is an Ipsos poll. Hopefully you trust this a little bit more than that
Let
other
me
poll.
see.
Right there. Here are the Americans' top 3 priorities. 88% say the economy. It's the economy, stupid. We all know that. 85% say inflation. And 77% say crime, safety, and the border. So Trump leads Biden in handling all these issues, especially immigration. He's up 17%. In the economy, Trump leads Biden up 14%. And on crime, he's up 8%. And here it is. Biden is up on abortion, up 12%. And women's health care, up 5%.
Why is it different, abortion and women's health care? Don't they just say they're the same thing? And I don't know how.
Well,
They
because
are?
women have more than health care other than killing babies, don't they?
So what is Trump bad on when it comes to other? That's what I'm saying. What's
He's not. So what is happening right now is the only card that the Democrats have is the fact that Roe went under Trump's presidency. So they keep threatening. If you see Kamala Harris every single day on her X account, she says that Trump is going to abolish abortion. You know, you're going to have a national ban on abortion. And
No,
this is
there's
not
going to be
true.
cops stopping you on the side of the road for you to take a
pulling you
pregnancy
over.
test.
Exactly, and this is completely irrational. So the
Completely
reason that Roe or that Dobbs repealed Roe is because the Burger Court legislated Roe from the bench, and that is illegal. And so when they did that, that was not something they were supposed to do. So the Dobbs ruling was like, all right, we need to get rid of this because it was never supposed to happen in the first place. We're going to hand it back to the states, and if Congress wants to make a rule about that, then go ahead. You know, if you want to codify it, then make a law, write a law, and then we'll rule on it. So what Congress did immediately following that, in all their hysteria, they tried to codify Roe. Remember this? What they did when they tried to codify Roe was they said, we're going to make it 40-week abortion every single state. And now this is something that even Justice Blackmun, when he wrote Roe, was apprehensive about. And he's like, this is, you know, there's a point where a baby is a human. And he's like, and this was 50 years ago. So he's like, and someday we're going to learn when that is. You know, when we have ultrasounds and can tell what this is, where a baby becomes a human. He didn't know because he's not a medical doctor. So, So that's what had happened with that, and so they couldn't write a law. So it's back in the hands of the states, which, you know, is really where it belongs. We're a republic of 50 states. We are not a direct democracy. But this is their only card. So this is what they're going to play really hard. When at the same time, Joe Biden just gutted Title IX, which erased women and girls from sports. So here they are parading themselves, allotting themselves as these protectors of women. when they just erased women altogether.
Hence my point. What is this? Women's care over here, but we hate women that are in sports, anything like that, or women can turn into men over here. And then the abortion, because I always understood it as women's health care was being able to kill your kid.
That's what they would kind of mask it as.
Yeah, they're making it two separate issues as if it's like he really, really cares. And it's just,
mammograms, don't you know?
Yeah, which, by the way, most of Planned Parenthood's and all, they don't even have the equipment for that.
Transing children, maybe,
I mean, I'm sure that all falls under that category, honestly.
Yes. So that's what it is, by the way. It's that women, for their health care, can go into one of these Planned Parenthoods or whatever it is and get their hormone blocking and their, you know, or puberty blocking and their testosterone and all this garbage. That's what they mean by women's health.
In addition to their birth control, and they just lump it all into the same.
Yeah. So, Brandon, where do you stand on this abortion topic?
Yeah, so I think,
you know, as the fifth female on this panel, go ahead, sir.
Funny. So I think Trump came out and said something that I thought was a great move on his part. A few weeks ago, he said that the abortion thing should be 4 months. He didn't really give a good reason for it. He's like, yeah, I like 4 months. It's a round number. But, I know, not great substance there. But I think he's right, because I think it should be 3 to 4 months. After that, not allowed unless there's a health issue with the pregnancy. But I think anybody who thinks that it should never be okay under any circumstances, I think that's psychotic and completely wrong. The fact that some states are trying to do that, not cool with that. So I think that that's the position for Trump to take strategically.
So you're basically saying 4 months, okay. Other than that, the only exceptions are life of the mother, and that's it.
Or health of the kid, if it's going to come out unhealthy or something. You know, that's something the parents decide on.
Anyone object to his opinion on this? Amy?
Yeah, I do. Let's go to Laura. Has her hand up. Let's go to Laura first.
Go ahead. Sorry, Laura.
Never, in any circumstance, when it's the life of the mother, does killing the kid help the mother. You deliver the child, if that's the case. Killing the baby does not do anything. So that just get that out of your head.
I'm not saying life of the mother, though. I'm saying the health of the pregnancy.
Health of the baby?
Yeah.
So then again, there's a chance that the baby could come out unhealthy. So I'm going to factor in it's better for me to kill the baby than for there to be a chance for them to be okay. Which, by the way, my nephew a couple years ago was born, and when my sister-in-law was pregnant, they thought that he had the T13. What is the
trimesy?
Yeah.
He
didn't, and he was fine. But you know why they were? Huh?
What is that? What was the?
It's fatal.
It's fatal sometimes. You know, it's like one of these things where it is or it isn't. The baby could not have like a long life, whatever. The point is, it's one of these things that they take tests early on. They tell you that, and then they're there pushing you, going, make a decision. The kid is perfect, beautiful child, has nothing absolutely wrong with him. But they make you get all these tests in the beginning because they freak you out with, what if the baby dies? What if the baby dies? There's either a what if the baby dies or a I'm certain the baby is going to die because I'm going to make sure of that. So this idea of the health of the mom or the health of the baby, the answer is never death. It is never death.
Nope.
All right, so let me propose this one, though. So, like, I mean, that's a great story, and I get that. That's why I say it's up to the parent. But what about the situation where somebody who's just getting by on money, and they have the situation where the kid might have this debilitating disease where it's going to cost thousands of dollars over the course of their life to maintain their health? What's up?
It's still not okay to kill the kid. It's the things that you're saying.
According to who, though? like just your opinion?
According
Why
to
can't the parents decide that?
According to murder. Brandon, you're saying that it's okay because the kid might have a not ideal life, which again, they could overcome these circumstances. They can. If they're given a chance, they can. If you kill them, they don't. I mean, that argument is so false. If you're saying the word, I'm going to kill the kid. So you're knowing that it's a child. And so you say 4 months and everybody has their different, it's 4, it's this, it's that. If you don't have a hardcore, when you believe the magic happens, what I said last time, if you don't have one, I do. Science does know, like what you said. The doctor a while ago didn't know. They know now. You have a different gene when conception happens and there's a new life there. Okay, if you don't want to go by that, fine. Then let's say whatever, pick your 4 months. But after 4 months, the kid you find out is going to have whatever XYZ issues that you were talking about. So at that point, because they're going to have a maybe not optimal life, I should kill them then. I mean, it's just, if murder is wrong, it's always wrong. Period.
We don't have the luxury to choose designer children. I have a daughter who has a 1 in a million disease where her immune system breaks her bones. Had I known she was going to have that when I was pregnant with her and that it was going to cost a lot of money, I would not have killed her. Like that's, and she's in remission, by the way. She went to remission in August, but that was years and years of coping with that. And also to your point about health of the mother, because this is what you always hear, health of the mother. Can you name a situation where the health of the mother would need the baby to die in order for the mother to be healthy?
Just one.
You know what that is? You know what it is? What? In Colorado, they talked about this. Up to 34 weeks, a woman can go into a abortion clinic and say that they're just not mentally
healthy.
It's mental health.
Mentally
they're not.
Take this
I can't.
right
so
now.
You're going to have to kill the baby because it's going to be better for my mental health to deliver a dead baby because you have to go through labor. You have to feel the labor. It would be better for my mental health to deliver the dead baby than to deliver an alive one.
So the health of the mother is basically a left-wing talking point, and that phrase has been monopolized.
And the point is, it's a slippery slope because mental health, we already know how wackadoo mental health is. You got transgenders saying that they're seasonally transgender. So that means in the fall, I'm a boy, and in the winter, I'm a girl, and in the spring, guess what? I'm non-binary. Okay? Well, if we can play that game, then mental health, I can do it to 40 weeks. I can show up there and say, ooh, that needle for the epidural, that's scary. I don't want to do that. Mental health, just kill it. What is that? We have to live in truth. If it's death, if it's murder. All the time, it's bad, period.
So you disagree with the exceptions after the 4 months more than the 4 month block of time?
Again, what I'm saying is zero murder ever, never. Don't kill anybody ever for any reason. Unless it's death penalty, we're going in a different direction. But these innocent children have nothing to do with whether their father raped them, which the degenerate father has nothing to do with a child. Whether, what's the other one, incest?
Yeah.
The child has nothing to do with what the parents did.
Less than 1% of all abortions are rape and incest. The rest of them are
Well, how about this, though? There's 150 million orphans in the world, and a lot of people who are terrible parents are having kids. So
I don't agree with that. I don't want people to open their legs and get pregnant. This is the problem.
We have a morality problem.
We have a morality problem that everybody is accidentally getting pregnant. There is one way to get pregnant, and I promise you, dealing with infertility, it is not an accident.
There are not millions of broken condoms. This is just
it is people that are just being irresponsible.
And we're not going to change the paradigm, and we're not going to fix the culture by a band-aid solution of just encouraging women to get abortions. It's only through what Laura is talking about here, what Josie is talking about here, that we're actually going to see a correction on this issue.
So here's what I want to do right now. If you were the president, real quick, sentence or two, what would your law be? If you were the king of America, hypothetically, what would your law be?
I'm a states' rights libertarian, so I would leave it to each of the 50 states. So if you were in a state that was like, hey, abortion through 34 weeks or whatever, you get the hell out of that state and you go to a state that says absolutely no abortion.
States' rights.
States' rights.
Bingo. Laura, President Pedrino, go ahead.
I'm a little bit more, call it extreme, call it whatever. The same way that murder is wrong, I wish we would view murdering a child as murder. Abortion is just a different way of saying I am murdering my child. Put all the different reasons on it. I just wish the same way that it is wrong everywhere to murder your child, to murder your born child, it is wrong to murder your child in the womb. Period. That's how I would be.
Is there a debate of when a child is actually a child?
No,
this is
Adam, we've gone through
the
this.
second,
Conception.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
But a lot of people debate that, Laura.
Okay.
The day you have sex?
No, it's actually, you can get pregnant. It takes about 2 days to get pregnant.
Okay, but the point, conception is conception. Conception is not sex. But the point is that if you're saying that there's like debate and all this kind of stuff. There isn't debate with, again, I've said this before. I come in and I go, pop. Nobody is questioning that. And so it just goes back to like
Laura,
the parents or
there's
how
a big
the child.
difference between an actual live human gun shooting and an embryo that hasn't even.
Tell that to a mother who's lost a child in the womb. Tell that to a mother who loves that child. She can feel it kicking. There's a heartbeat on the screen. That is a lot.
By the way,
whether or not you can see it, whether or not you can see it, and it's not manifest as self-evident reality in front of your eyes, doesn't diminish the fact that is alive.
There is, by the way, there is a heartbeat. There is a heartbeat, like 5 weeks. So all that.
I'm saying at 1 minute.
So what is it that you're talking about? Then that's not a. You
Not
don't
even
even
an
know
embryo.
that you are.
Exactly.
No, don't say it's not an embryo.
So
It is an embryo.
So is the morning after pill illegal?
Okay.
Morning after pill is it takes, like I said, it takes about 2 days to get pregnant. So you take the morning after pill, you're not pregnant.
The morning
yet.
after.
Yep, the morning after.
Yes and no, but at the same time, we are
Should
so.
the morning after pill be illegal?
I don't want it because here's the thing.
So the
I
morning
think-
after should be illegal?
I think-
Before a woman is even pregnant?
Listen, it's still.
How contradictory are we, guys?
No,
Yeah,
it's
you're
not.
against
I
condoms
don't
and birth
think that's a
control?
contradiction, especially not of her values.
Guys,
She's
there's
a
a morning
Christian
after
woman
pill
as well.
abortion.
Guys,
This is I don't believe it is because I believe that what it does it gets in there and it creates a
prevents-
hostile situation, so you can't have a baby.
And there's a hostile situation right now.
So the
For sure
sperm,
right now.
the sperm is on its way. It's up there. It's like,
yeah.
hey, I'm gonna go
Do you wanna
find
answer
that
this?
egg, and then it
Listen,
can't.
Okay, so yes, fine. And again, I just said this. I'm not here to speak nuance. I'm here to be black and white because I believe abortion is murder. Abortion is a fancy way of saying we're killing our kids. I think what is disgusting is that they are putting them in morning after pills in little baskets in bathrooms, that there's vending machines, that we're spraying them out in parades. That is degenerate to me. That is saying, you guys make bad decisions, but here, go, just take
But
this.
to
and
be
then
fair,
make
it's our
it.
biological imperative to
Degeneracy.
reproduce, though. So it's not as easy done as it is said to not have sex with people.
What would
Excuse me, hold on. It's not as easy to just not have sex with people. Why are we savages and animals that have to sleep with everybody or everything? We have to be a little bit more responsible. There is this idea of I gotta have sex. No, you have to. If you know that you're
8
gonna
billion
have
people, though, people are going to make bad decisions. I mean, yeah, I agree. People need to be more responsible, but
bad
there's irresponsible
decisions
people out
have
there.
consequences. All of them do.
Yeah,
like I
there's
said,
150 million of them right now that are orphans.
The consequences look different for different people. Again, I sound super old school, but the fact is, baseline morality says killing your kid is wrong. And when you have an action, a bad action, it's going to have a consequence. Now, the consequence could be a child, which is a beautiful thing, or to you, it's a terrible thing that you want to kill. But I'm just saying people have to be way more responsible. It's not an accident to get pregnant. It's irresponsible to do it if you're not ready.
What Ron Paul says, and he's a famous Republican, but libertarian.
I love libertarian. Yeah,
Well,
I
he
love
ran as a
Ron
Republican,
Paul.
as I'm saying.
And
Yes.
right.
Adore him.
Yeah.
He was a gynecologist, and he delivered 3,000 babies, including Selena. He delivered Selena, the singer.
The singer.
Yep. So his idea, he always was, a little pro-choice until he saw one of these abortions and the baby, and he described it in his book, and he described the baby. It was 3 pounds, baby, and they just left it in a medical waste sink.
Oh yeah. Happens all the time.
So his idea is that abortion should not be illegal. It should be unthinkable. It should be so immorally unthinkable that we don't even need a law for it.
That's
the point that we would need to
And
get to.
anyone who's willing to go through with one, they should be required to sit and see what is actually involved and encompassed with that, because I think it's so easy to be emotionally detached from the argument when you're someone like Adam who doesn't even view it as a life.
Yeah.
You're able to separate yourself from it mentally, but if you actually understand
I didn't say I don't see it as a life.
And that's why Planned Parenthood.
At what point does it become a life?
And,
That's the
and do you
question.
guys believe in
gonna say-
reincarnation too? Because that's a big thing with this too, is that you act like a soul
If
that's
you-
killed is never going to rise again. But there's a lot of evidence to show
Oh,
that.
so
there's
you're right. Let's kill our kids because
There's
maybe they
two-
can have a better
All right, well, that's
second
the
life.
way to take it. I'm
scientific
saying it's
ways
evil to
to
tell somebody
determine
that they
when
can't get an
it
abortion if they
becomes-
feel like they need to.
All right,
It is
listen,
not evil.
final
How
word.
is it evil to tell somebody not to kill their kid? You just for whoever missed that because there was a lot of talking. It's evil to tell somebody
In a bad situation.
That makes it better. Okay, it's evil to tell somebody in a bad situation
Yes.
to not get an abortion.
Yes.
That's what's evil.
Yes.
Not,
if
not,
it's going to be a fatherless home where they don't have money and the kid doesn't have a
guys,
father.
are
yes.
we out of our minds?
Some of the most
90% of America is a
some of the
fatherless
most
home.
incredible,
Gosh.
inspirational people have been born out of dire circumstances,
And
and
it-
those are the people that actually help inspire others.
Yeah, it's great.
and
They're
to
anomalies,
No,
Will.
and to Amy's point, the fact is we're putting a Band-Aid, a murderous Band-Aid on a cultural problem because the system has incentivized women to not get
welfare.
married, okay, welfare. So that situation, we should fix it by killing our kids. This idea of saying, you just said the words, it is evil to not let someone get an abortion
Yes,
if they're in a bad situation.
Yeah.
It is evil to murder.
Yeah, I
And
agree with
more,
that, too.
murder your
That's
innocent
simple.
child.
It's that simple.
Brandon,
But it's their
How-
evil, though. You know, they should have the choice to make that decision if they want to. It's not society's choice.
I mean,
To
why is it society's choice that it's
murder.
illegal that someone should get locked up for murdering somebody? I mean, I completely agree.
But
She
that's-
we
was-
live,
Here's
we
what I
live
wanna
under
know.
societal norms that
guys-
murder
answer
is
your
wrong.
question,
Guys,
Adam.
everyone.
I mean, I honestly, let
Laura?
me cap it up.
No,
Let
no.
me cap it up.
Laura?
I pray that when you become a father one day, you make the responsible choice to have that child, to keep
Yeah.
that child, and it changes your life forever, and you change your mind about this entire thing. And I honestly,
Listen,
I hope that that happens for you. The moment that you see your kid on the ultrasound, and you're going to be amazed how fast that happens.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you're right. And listen, I hate abortion. It's a disgusting thing. It's a sad anytime it happens. But I think that it's the worst of two evils is to tell somebody they can't do it if they feel like they need to.
And that's exactly what I pray you change your mind about, because it is evil to kill your child anytime, ever, period.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. Thank you guys for that spirited debate.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon plans on running for president.
Well,
20
70%
years
of the
from
country
now.
agrees with me.
We'll see.
70% of the country are
We'll
degenerates.
see if his situation changes.
That's probably true.
But I actually think that women, men, this might be controversial, men, when it comes to babies and women, sit down, shut the fuck up, and listen to the women on this. They're the one carrying the babies. You notice what I did here? Kind of didn't say much. I think there's certain elements of society women should have a deeper voice on, the abortion being the main one.
Well, I even
Let's
disagree
listen
with
women.
that to an
Thank you. Goodbye. We're moving on.
I did want to tell you when life began,
So
though.
next topic.
Yeah, come on.
Next topic.
I can tell.
Yeah.
You guys everyone take a deep breath here. Go ahead, take a deep breath.
Woosah.
Okay.
No one breathed.
Woosah. Woosah.
I'm totally chill.
We got about a half hour left. You know, we're having
I've
interesting
never been
debates,
calmer.
Topics. You almost
I don't know
you
what you're
almost
talking
choked out Brandon. You guys caught a little beef. It's all good.
It's not beef. Talking passionately.
We're moving on.
Talking passionately about
About
your
not murdering
convictions.
babies?
Yeah.
We're moving on.
I love babies. I love
Since you
babies.
guys caught a little bit of beef, let's talk about what's going on. Beef in the world. What has bigger beef these days? Trump or Biden? Or Drake and Kendrick Lamar? Now, why would I bring up those two things? Hip hop, diss tracks, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Trump, Biden, election 2024. Because Biden campaign is now putting out diss tracks against Trump. Breaking news. Biden disses Trump inspired by the Drake Kendrick Lamar beef. We actually have the clip we'll show you in a second. The song plays in a slideshow of images of Trump in their own lyrics to Kendrick Lamar's Euphoria. You did a whole breakdown on SOSCAST and on Usual Suspects the other day. Kendrick Lamar, after all this beef that's going back and forth, accused Drake of being a pedophile. He said, hide your little sisters in the song called Not Like Us.
He did more than that. He
What did he
actually,
do?
he directly called him out. He directly called him a pedophile in the song. He used
Literally
that
just
word.
read that, but go ahead.
Oh no, I thought you said just hide your sisters. That's implication, but no, he directly
called
said,
him a pedophile,
He said certified.
yes.
No, he said certified lover boy, certified,
Certified
pedophile.
pedophile.
Exactly.
Correct.
That
Thank
was
you.
the very.
So this is the track that you have it on Instagram. All right, make sure we have the volume.
Oh,
This is the track that
Of course, Kamala's in it.
Biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. I hate the way that you sneak this. If I catch flight, it's gonna be direct.
Okay.
Oh God.
So
This is so
he
cringe.
remixed
What-
the
what?
words
This
and he
is
put the following words in there.
so embarrassing. As
It's
a
always been
country.
about love and hate. Now let me say I'm the biggest hater. Those are actually lyrics from the song, but this is what Biden changed it to. I hate the way that you walk over women's rights.
Oh, vomit.
Oh my
I hate the way
God.
that you talk about immigrants. I hate the way that you dress. And I hate the way that you sneak diss on Truth Social. Hate the way that you walk over immigrant. There it is right there. So
The cringiest.
here it is. Let's hone in here, guys. The Boston Herald reported that Trump is now looking for high-profile musicians and rappers to do their diss track of their own
Oh, it's
to
gonna be
boost
so much
his
better.
2024 campaign events in New York City, Chicago, Detroit, and Atlanta in an effort to boost his appeal to voters of color. Both candidates are trying to hip-hop diss track each other. Daryl Scott, who's a black pastor and longtime advocate, Trump supporter, said, to be quite honest, the Republican Party does not have a cohesive engagement plan for the black communities. But if you look at the numbers, Trump's polling numbers with black and Latino voters don't actually look that bad. He's doing much better with Republicans than they did 10 to 20 years ago. So this is a good strategy or bad strategy that Biden is getting involved in the hip-hop diss culture wars with Trump. What do you think, Nat?
I mean, he can use as much help as he can get. I mean, he's just using it for marketing. I mean, for him, it's a benefit because he's Sleepy Joe otherwise. But I'm not surprised he's using this for his campaign. Have you looked at Trump's marketing? Phenomenal. His marketing is phenomenal for the campaign and stuff like that. So I'm not surprised he's using this because it's trending news. What else is he
Play
supposed
the
to
clip one more time. I mean, I agree with you. He needs all the help he can get.
Yeah.
The clip, all he did was
It was
put
horrible.
words
It was
over
horrible.
what's already going on out there.
Yeah.
You got the clip?
You
Go
can't
ahead.
be shocked.
Go
His
ahead.
marketing
About
sucks.
love and hate. Now let me say I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. I hate the way that you sneak this. If I catch flight, it's gonna be direct.
I
Yeah,
bet you
Kamala
it was
made
like
that in the
so-
car. She made that in the car.
it was probably like a 23-year-old intern that put
Yeah,
that together, you know?
The lack of effort. Clips,
Yeah.
they didn't change the actual song at all. They just put titles over it. Amy,
I mean,
you've been following politics. You've been following culture. You've been following this Kendrick Lamar situation. What's your perspective?
Yeah, they're clearly not very good at marketing or reaching audiences, which is why they've been caught now literally paying influencers up to $50,000 to advocate for the Biden campaign. They're literally paying these influencers to say things that they don't even necessarily believe in. And so coming back to this situation in particular, obviously for anyone who saw the Tuesday show, it was my first time being introduced to the situation. Really didn't know too much about it, and I'm always inclined to side with the person who is being accused initially, because there's been so many instances of Me Too. We've seen it with Russell Brand, we've seen it with Andrew Tate, Trump to some degree, so many figures out there. And so, I'm always on the side of innocent until proven guilty. However, there's definitely some slightly shady and nefarious things that Drake has done. The evidence is kind of stacking up, and honestly, it was kind of essentially what the Biden party is doing is they are equivocating the sexual degeneracy that Drake is being accused of with the sexual degeneracy that Trump is being accused of. And this is especially, the time to do it, given the fact that everything that's happening with the trial, with the hush money, the case, and everything like that. So honestly, I think it can really only help them and not harm them. But that's because the people that they're speaking to are honestly, they're not the smartest people.
Brandon, good or bad move that they're actually using pop culture and hip hop to try to inform voters of what's going on?
Yeah, so good idea, but terrible execution. And so this, the analogy I use here is like word of mouth marketing versus brute force marketing. So the fact that Trump, how many times has he been mentioned in a rap song before being president? Hundreds of times, all the time, because he's cool and he has a fun lifestyle, and people, I guess they resonate with him for whatever reason in the rap world. But the attempt by Biden, this is like going door to door, handing out pamphlets versus having like a sick product that everybody just naturally talks about and word spreads about that. Like, I bet you a sick song's gonna come out. Hyping Trump up and dissing Biden from an actual rapper that likes Trump in the next few weeks or months.
Gotcha. Laura, you from the streets of Fort Lauderdale. Cuba, Havana. Does this help Biden's street cred with the hood?
Okay, I'm gonna go before that question. I don't know who Drake is. I don't know who.
What? You don't know who Drake is?
I guess I do know. Like, I know a song or two songs. I don't listen to any of that stuff. The other guy, Kendrick
Lamar?
No, sorry, no. I don't know any of these people. No, I couldn't care less about it. But I do think it's.
Show him a picture of Drake and Kendrick.
No, I know Drake. He's like people.
All of a sudden, you know Drake.
No, I'm saying I don't listen to their music.
Okay.
I think people think he's attractive, and I don't
I'm
get it
talking
at
about
all.
Biden.
Anyways,
implementing hip hop culture to
No.
try to win more
I think
support?
I think it's embarrassing as a country that these are our president and vice president in the car and doing the little meme thing with the pictures underneath. It's embarrassing as a country. And does it help him? The pandering, I don't know how it plays, because how he went on to the Breakfast Club and said the whole "you ain't black" thing.
Yep.
Like, I don't know how that hit people. I think I would be wildly offended if someone said that. But I don't think it should help. I hope it doesn't. I can't stand the pandering. I think they said it the other day when they were talking about black people from Queens don't even know what the word computer is. They're saying what they think about black people. I don't know when they're going to wise up and go, hey, they think we're a bunch of idiots.
That was
like,
Governor Kathy Hochul
of New York. I know.
Josie.
So, yeah, basically, I
Gotcha.
don't
So
care
what
if
we
it
understand
helps
is
or not.
that we shouldn't get you some Drake hip hop tickets when he comes to town.
Please,
certainly not Kendrick
please
Lamar.
do not. Yeah, you see, I don't think he's attractive at all. People
I
think
don't
he is
either.
attractive.
All right, guys, listen. It's fine. You're a married woman. Don't worry about that. Josie,
I can still think people are attractive or not attractive.
is this a good move or bad move by Biden to get involved in the hip hop beef, diss track culture with Kendrick Lamar and Drake?
I think it works more for Trump's benefit than it does for his own benefit because, I mean, he's clearly pandering. And Trump already has, as you said, he's established within the rap community already. So, you know, it's like a really bad meme almost, like the way that they've written all the words down, and it's not funny, it's not clever.
Yeah.
I don't think it works for his benefit at all.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. Horrible marketing strategy. You could have done something so much better with the video, get involved, whatever, but it was just like, take what's trending, throw a couple different words on it.
Yeah.
Look at us now. It got us to talk about it, but not all good things that you talk about benefit you, right?
Yep.
So, by the way, you've been following what's going on with Drake, the pedophilia. The latest situation, they're going back and forth for weeks. Listen, I said this before on the Tuesday show, if you're a SOSCAST fan, or if you watch Valuetainment. Beef, drama, diss tracks, nothing new. Started with Tupac and Biggie in the 90s. Then it was Jay-Z and Nas in 2000s. Drake as of late with Pusha T and with Meek Mill. And then now it's with Kendrick Lamar. But then it got really weird when you start talking about pedophilia and sexual misconduct and sexual deviancy. And I hate you and I hate you. I hope you like, okay. But Drake's bodyguard, this is two of the stories that actually happened over the last couple days. Meanwhile, 2 incidents over the last 2 days occurred. Do you have that story? Drake's security guard is now fighting for his life because he was shot in the chest just a couple days ago. That was at his $100 million Toronto mansion. I believe that was Tuesday. And then yesterday, the day after, then someone allegedly broke into Drake's mansion and he said, quote unquote, "I'm here to see Drake," before getting into a physical altercation with the rapper's security team. The person was apprehended and now under the Mental Health Act getting taken for medical assistance. So this is when art imitates life, or when life imitates art, you know, that whole situation going on there. But Biden, next thing you know, bang, bang, him and Trump are having a shootout. Let's hope we don't go there. Let's not have any issues. Go ahead, Josie.
I have a thought. I think that beef sells, if you think Biggie, Tupac.
Yep.
And they kind of are wanting to get that back. I don't know. Do you believe this is an organic fight, anybody, or do you think it's kind of, I mean, are they under the same label? I don't really know the details about it.
I know they've been competitors over the years. I know Drake kind of brought Kendrick up, and then as Kendrick became bigger, you know, I think he just got a little excited, and then that's kind of how the beef was created. And now, so I think
The
it's
fact
long
that
time
he's
coming.
talking about things like pedophilia make me
Right.
think it is organic, because that's not something
Yeah.
you just kind of, you know, throw around to create, to sell tickets, to sell records.
Yeah.
You know, that's-
Exactly. And there's been, what's crazy is there have been some videos that have come out that
Are
do
questionable.
it makes you question, for sure. There's things that Drake has done that, for me as a mother, if I had a 14-year-old, the manner in which Drake was communicating with that 14-year-old, I would not be comfortable with that.
But
if that was my 14-year-old
What does your
daughter.
14-year-old look like? Your 14-year-old has boob jobs and lips done and her ass done, then that's different.
That's all, yeah.
Because you also have to be realistic. Because
no.
there's 12-year-olds walking around with lips done and Botox in their face.
That speaks
and
to
they
parenting.
are inviting
Oh, that's a
these
That is
older
parenting.
gentlemen with
As a
money
mother,
Yeah.
to
As a mother.
entertain them. And
Ugh.
you also want to consider that factor as well. You know, my little kid is not going to have Botox at 10.
The two 14-year-olds that
Botox
I've
at
seen
10.
reference were about as natural as you can get. Millie Bobby Brown and Hailey Bieber. Neither of them have implants. Neither of them have any of the crazy stuff. They both look younger still, even as women in their 20s now. So when they were 14, they looked even younger than that. Anyway, do your own research, guys, but that's just my thoughts.
We'll see what happens here with this Kendrick Drake thing. But I think it's very interesting that literally the President of the United States and the former President of the United States are trying to get involved with hip-hop culture and hip-hop beef to basically win new voters, specifically Atlanta, Chicago, Detroit, Midwest cities that are in play, swing states. Very interesting. This is life imitating art, art imitating life. Biden's riding with Biden, or are in the Trump train. We'll see what happens there. Speaking of voters who are fed up, you see what's going on in Chicago right now? Black voters, typically the base of the Democratic Party, specifically black women, turning on Biden. Biden was just in Chicago yesterday. Here's the latest story. Black voters are fed up with Biden, especially the Democrats in Chicago. Biden just visited Chicago to win back minority voters who are now officially ditching the Democratic Party. You have this video teed up. This is from Fox News from 2016, by the way. 8% of black voters voted for Trump. Now in 2024, bump ba-da-da, drum roll please, double that. A little more than double, 17% of black voters saying they would vote for Trump. Here's an interview. We've heard about Blexit, Candace Owens, friend of the show. She's been on this big shift that's happening in the black community. All it takes is 100,000 voters in Detroit, in Wisconsin, in Pennsylvania, in Georgia to flip the election. We've seen it in 2016 and 2020. Could that be what's happening in 2024? At 25 seconds, I believe this is where it starts. Go ahead.
Around and see what Chicago is really like. What would he find?
Give me a second.
He's going to see that Chicago is not the Democratic stronghold that they anticipated that it would be when they did their planning earlier this year.
And by that, what do you mean?
The city is completely fed up with the Democratic Party. We are stepping over illegals every day. They're now trying to break into people's homes. Gas is through the roof. Groceries are through the roof. Violence is up. Nothing is comfortable here under Democratic leadership, and we're all moving on. So I think he's going to come.
Love to hear
pull up the next thing. That was, just so you saw, there was two black women, one in a MAGA hat. Speaking on Fox News, you saw the audio right there. Interesting. They said we are, quote unquote, rising crime, stepping over illegals. This is not the Democratic stronghold that they thought it would be.
Love it.
And we are fed up with the Democratic Party. These are black women in Chicago. And the coup de grace was, we are uncomfortable here. Nothing is comfortable here under Democratic leadership. So we talked about New York City potentially, or New York State potentially being in play for Trump. What? Is Chicago in play for Trump? Is Illinois in play for Trump? Is that really what's going on here? And then they go to talk about the bill that just passed is $95 billion bill that was passed for Ukraine, for Israel, for Taiwan. And they're saying, what's up? Can we get a little bit of money here in Chicago? It starts at 3:07. Play this.
So, Betty, Chicago has spent over $310 million on migrant care since August of 2022. When you hear that number, what goes through your mind?
It's very, very upsetting for me, because that money could have went to so many other things here in the city of Chicago. Our school system here, particularly in the black community, has suffered tremendously. Our students are leaving our communities to go to other schools. The crime rate is still very high here. So we have crimes that's gone unsolved. Homicides going back as far as 2014. It's just so many things that money could have been used for. And as a people here, we've been told that.
Okay, play the last part. Yeah, keep playing it.
We have no money. There is no money for Chicago, for the citizens here. But now all of a sudden, monies are coming in to support illegal aliens, not migrants.
So she's talking about money in Chicago, $310 billion. Was it million or
million?
How much was it?
Million.
$310 million. Correct.
Cut something to
million.
that too.
So they're getting a little fed up there. And then we have another video of Katt Williams. Go ahead, weigh in on this.
Yeah, no, so Governor, billionaire J.B. Pritzker gave $1 billion to the struggling EV factory for, was it Rivian? Because it's a bad business model.
Yep.
Wall Street's rejecting it, but he's given $1 billion of taxpayer money to try to prop up this failing company. So that's another example of Democratic leadership, you know, slap in the face of the interstate community.
Gotcha. You got Katt Williams. So this is what's going on in Chicago. They're fed up. Biden was just there. They're basically saying, we're no longer riding with Biden. Sorry, you no longer earn our vote. We're not just going to give it to you for free. We want to see something. You're prioritizing, in their opinion, in my opinion, illegals, immigrants, migrants, illegal aliens, newcomers over our citizens. We ain't playing this game anymore. And the only way to actually stop these policies is to vote different.
Yep.
Vote different. What are the chances that you would typically see black women in Chicago with MAGA hats historically? Never.
I'd love to see it.
Okay. So here's Katt Williams. Not exactly someone you would suspect is a conservative, but very interesting. So who's the most mad black man right around these days? Katt Williams. So he says that money should go to black Americans, not to these foreign bills out here. So Katt Williams has a new Netflix special called Woke Folk. Here's what he had to say about the money that just went to Ukraine. I believe it starts at 137.
Audio.
We just gave $100 billion to the Ukraine. And God bless the Ukrainians. But off the record, we don't know them niggas right. You could have gave that money to black people now. We just gave them all that money. The truth is they over there getting their ass whooped over there.
Okay.
You could have gave that money to the black people in Los Angeles and they'd have went over there and whooped ass in 2 weeks.
Josie, your thoughts. What should we do with all this money?
I oppose spending any money on any foreign war ever. I am 100% America first, not even in the political way, not even in the MAGA way. I am a Bill of Rights, libertarian, constitutional, right down to 1776. And we should not be giving any money. And what is so offensive about that bill, that they gave money for war to foreign countries, is they did nothing to protect our country. It all went over there.
And it originated that way too. Like when the bill first came out, it was supposed to be the border protection bill, where
Yes.
$20 billion was originally supposed to go to the border, but that was the only part that got cut out when the bill actually passed.
That is an affront to the American people, and it is like mocking the American people at this point. My idea is that we're in a controlled demolition of our country, and our economy is kind of the tell of that. So they keep spending all this money. Inflation's not at 3%.
No.
We're not idiots. So that's the tell, is how much they're spending, and they keep spending. And I believe that we're going to get down to the point where they're going to give us a choice of hyperinflation or CBDCs.
What's the number that you would be okay with spending? Well, what number would you be okay with if
for national debt or spending money?
Spending money to give to
other people? Zero money to other countries. What it is about giving money to other countries, it's like a charitable thing. So once we are all set and we're good and our country is thriving and everything is perfect, then we can think about giving some money to other people. But we need to we need to clean our room. We need to have our own house in order, and we don't.
100%.
Yeah. It's a really interesting point that you make about hyperinflation versus CBDCs.
Yes.
This is something I've been looking into a lot. Shout out to Ron DeSantis for banning that in Florida.
Yes,
that was obviously something that happened recently, but I think this is something that people aren't even informed of.
Yes.
I wrote down another thing. You said controlled demolition of country and economy. And you see the way that this is being leveraged with left-wing talking points, again, with the bipartisan border bill. It's crazy how many leftists came out and said Republicans shut that down. They shut that down. They don't actually care about fixing the border.
That bill codified the broken border that we have now. That's what that did. It was going to put it into law, codification law, where the next president, nobody could ever fix it. Nobody could ever undo it. What it said is right now they're bringing 5,000 people a day into our country. What that bill did, it brought that down to 400 or 4,500 people a
Per
day.
day, yeah.
And then they were just going to codify it, make it the law. And that's what that, so the Republicans are like, no, we're not going to do that. So then Biden and the Democrats then had the ammo to say, no, we tried. We tried, but the Republicans aren't because Donald Trump told them not to. You see, so it's all political. It's all political.
Josie, I have a question for you.
I hope I have an answer.
You're a libertarian. Isolationist, interventionist, right? I believe that everything has some nuance on the spectrum. What I am is never an extremist. It's zero, no money whatsoever, ostrich-like situation. We get involved in nothing. At the opposite side of it is, what we've been doing is regime change, getting involved in foreign wars, spending money, trillions, Afghanistan, Iraq, we're all over the map. There needs to be a little nuance here, a little guidance. Like, what happens if America never got involved in World War II? Where would we be now? There's certain instances that we might have to get involved into something. What are the instances? Let's say, how about this, hypothetical? Because it's easy to say, and I agree with you for the most part, until we get this 34 trillion under control, don't spend a penny. I'm actually kind of with you. Let's just say in an imaginary world, imaginary as hell to me, they were actually debt-free. At what point do we intervene in other countries' situations?
Well, I want to step back to something that you said earlier. So Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution says that it is the federal government's job to protect the states from invasion. Now, if the federal government doesn't do this, then that right under the 10th Amendment falls to the states and to the individuals, which is what we're seeing happen with the border. So America got involved with World War II after Japan attacked Pearl Harbor.
Correct.
So that is defending the states from invasion. So in that count, yes, absolutely, we need to defend ourselves against that and go to war. I don't agree with nuking people, but you know that was that decision at the time. I wasn't born yet. So that is to that. And now, what was the second question?
We're saying, at what point do we get involved in anything that's going on here?
So
around the world.
Yes. So we need.
Are you a strict isolationist?
No, I'm a defense.
Okay.
So
we'll only get involved if you attack us.
Yes.
We won't come to the aid of any of our allies. What do you do with treaties like NATO? Article 5, Section 5?
Yep.
All right, we're involved in NATO. We're in a treaty. Because, by the way, they've only implemented that Section 5, Article 5, one time. That was after 9/11. All those countries came to our defense in Afghanistan. Waste of freaking money. We get it. We see what happened there. Mess. I'm not advocating for that. But do we just get out of all these treaties? Do we have zero alliances? How does that work?
Well, it depends if the treaty was constitutional or not. I'm not familiar with how we got into that treaty, but the Constitution says that it needs to be the president can get into treaties with 2/3 of the advice and consent of the Senate. So as long as the Senate was like, yeah, let's get into NATO, 2/3 of them, then that is a constitutional treaty. Right now we're seeing they're trying to do this treaty with where who gets to decide if we get locked down or not.
The World Health Organization.
Yes, exactly. So the deadline for that is tomorrow. So Biden administration just wants to unilaterally get into that without any Senate intervention. And you know what? If those treaties are unconstitutional, then no, we don't have to abide by those treaties.
By the way, I would love to have this conversation even further. Come back again. We'll do this because we're going to get to our last story. Here's what I'll tell you. I find myself being more libertarian each day. I'm not a strict Christian conservative. I'm certainly not a modern day liberal, maybe a classic liberal. I don't know. I think we all kind of have to go through a different evolution. Liberal. Classic liberal?
Yeah,
great.
Sure.
I think we all need to kind of go through an evolution, not be so grounded and fixated that everything I've known and always known is right. I'm not saying that about you. I think we all have to evolve. Individual freedoms, I think they're great. That's part of the Libertarian Party. It's sort of the premise of libertarianism, right? Socially or culturally liberal, do no harm, right? As long as you don't mess with me, I won't mess with you. Do what you want. I think that's a slippery slope. We saw that happen with Oregon with the drugs. A little aggressive there. Fiscal conservative, get the government out of my life, right? Laissez-faire economics. There's a lot to admire about the Libertarian Party. Where am I going with this? You guys have a great product. Horrible marketing.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, we're terrible.
Thank you.
It's awful.
Yes.
They're getting better since the Mises Caucus took over for sure. But before that, it was
get your marketing better.
Yep.
Circle back.
I'm doing my best.
Talk to us.
I'm doing my best.
Last story, guys. Here we go. This is something I want to get your opinion on. What's the difference between a boy and a girl? Right? What's the difference? Not a trick question. What's the difference between a Boy Scout and a Girl Scout?
Right.
Not typically a trick question. By the way, show your hands on the panel if you're a boy on this panel.
Oh, thank God.
Raise your hand
That's what I thought.
if you're a girl on this panel.
I'm a woman.
Okay. Is there anybody here that identifies as both?
None of us are mentally
Okay.
ill.
Okay, none of us are mentally ill. Great.
Thank God.
So, I don't know if you saw the news.
Scouting America.
The Boy
Scouting
Scouts
America.
are now officially transitioning
Little pride pin.
for a
Flag on
much
the-
more
flag on the
inclusive
tie.
name called
Damn.
Scouting America.
It's just so sad.
This is a
That's
Valuetainment
grooming.
article, VT.com. Check it out.
Awesome.
The Boy Scouts now officially announced the name. They're changing their name for the first time in not 10, not 20, not 50, not 100. For the first time in 114 years. What are you doing out there, Scouts? To the gender-neutral title of Scouting America. Unbelievable. In the hopes of, you ready for it? You knew this was coming. In the hopes of becoming more welcoming and inclusive. The title no longer Boy Scouts. Hope will encourage young scouts to be who they feel they are. Unbelievable. Part of the organization's mission is to welcome every youth in America to experience the benefits of scouting. The Scouts opened its ranks to female scouts in 2017 with more than 176,000 girls enrolled. Josie, it's my understanding that you fled Massachusetts to Florida, but because the schools then, this was a few years ago during COVID 2022, I believe, they were pushing all the her, he, she, them, they, their, all that stuff, the woke, lesbian, LGBTQIA plus agenda to your daughter at the time.
Yes.
Make some sense of what's going on here with the Scouts.
So I'm raising a tomboy, and so she was being they-themmed by some adults in her life.
Damn.
And she was uncomfortable with that because she knew very well that she was a girl. But
for her.
these, so I raised her well, you know, and that's it's parenting is what does it. So she wasn't aware of
Manipulated
this.
by that,
She
yeah.
wasn't manipulated by it. She was just what's going on. And then at the same time, there were friends that were trying to say she was gay, and she was 10. And she's like, she was confused by all of this, you know, and so this is something, you know, on top of all the COVID stuff, because they were also talking about masking only unvaccinated children and stuff like that, and I didn't COVID vax my children, so it was just everything that got me to be like, all right, I can't be here anymore. I can't raise my kids here anymore. You know, come to Florida. There's no social contagion. Not in my kids' school. I went to the best. I vetted everything before I moved to where I moved. So. It didn't happen here. She's well adjusted. You know, she's still a tomboy. She's awesome. She just made regionals for track because she's incredible. She as a freshman. So you know, just girls. So also to this point, Title IX, as I had brought up earlier. So Title IX protected girls from losing scholarships to boys, losing benefits to boys, like being able to play on an equal playing field is what Title IX did, because girls and boys are different, physically different. So of the fastest man and the fastest woman to ever exist, there's like a 10% difference in how fast they are. Men have a larger lung capacity. Men have larger muscles. Men have larger... their legs can go farther when they run.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. Bone density, that's a big one. So everything that they do athletically related is stronger, faster, better than what a girl can do. So what the Biden administration did is they took sex and replaced it with gender, which is completely made up. There's no genders.
Love that article about the secretary. Keep talking. Go ahead.
Okay. So what he did, he gutted Title IX, and he made it so that boys and girls can play. Now, the states have the rights. As you're saying, I think 15 states are suing the Biden regime for this.
The Biden education secretary refuses to say if he would let boys fight his own daughter and undress in front of her. You know
And
what's
that's-
weird?
yes. That's a
when you
sucky
won't
father.
answer that in front of your own kid? Like,
Yes.
what?
That's
So-
a
This has to
horrible
do with
father.
Title IX.
This
Go ahead.
goes back to states' rights, the
Yep.
10th Amendment, and the states can say, I am not abiding by this. Now, what the Biden regime can do is they can withhold funding from the states if they do this. So that's why the states are teaming up and they are suing the Biden regime for doing this, because they're doing it under the guise of equal protection. But they're doing it under imaginary equal protection because gender is not real. It's you're a boy or you're a girl. You can, there's not 125 genders. So equal protection truly is grounded at its roots, man, woman, boy, girl, male, female. It is not Zer, Zay, Zem. All of that's
Cis?
made up.
You're not a cis woman?
No.
Cis woman?
No, cis
You're
is
not a
slur.
birthing person. You're just a mother.
No, and that's so offensive.
kinda-
So they've taken this regime who is, as I said, women's rights. That's what they do. That's what they're known for. They have taken female language out of bills. They have made us birthing people in
Yes.
uterus havers, and
Chest feeders.
Chest
Have you been a
feeders.
libertarian your whole life?
I have. I didn't really know what
Were you
I was
ever a
until
Democrat? Did you
2012.
ever vote Democrat?
No,
Never
I've
your whole life?
never my whole life.
Gotcha.
I never knew
Padrino,
who I
did
was.
you ever vote Democrat your whole life?
Never. When I was
Okay.
17, I registered to vote. 18, I voted for my
Gotcha.
first
Did you ever
Republican.
vote Democrat?
No,
Okay.
I
Did you vote for Obama?
I don't think I was old enough to vote for Obama, but I wanted him to win because
Okay.
yeah.
But
How'd that work out for you?
By the way,
Not
there's
good.
nothing wrong with
But I
this.
didn't know anything back
The only
then.
thing wrong is continuing to double down on bad policies and bad ideas. No, I'm a Democrat for life. That's it. By the way, if you were a Republican in 2008, after 9/11, whatever George W. Bush did, there's a lot of people be like, no, I get why you wouldn't want to vote
Yeah.
for Republican again. John McCain, I get it. But to double down on horrible policies, this type of stuff infuriates people with common sense. What do you mean you want my kid to be a they, them, his, hers, this gender? What is
All they
going
had to do was
on
come
here?
for the children.
Yeah.
As soon
Do you
as
see
they
what they're
came for
doing
the
in Florida?
children.
And I want to get to Padrino.
Yeah.
In Florida, Ron DeSantis says we will not stand by this decision. Florida sues the Biden administration to block the new trans healthcare rule. This had to do with the Title IX that you're talking about. This, Padrino, you're in Florida. You got two kids, I think, a boy and a
Two
girl.
girls.
Two
Two
girls. What have
Two
you
girls.
dealt with?
Let them call them theys or whatever. Oh, that would be the day.
Yep.
No, again, my kids go to a private Christian school. Does not mean that that's perfect, but it's definitely not coming from the teachers, and hopefully not from their peers. That's the thing. As parents, we have to be super aware of who their friends are, and I'm friends with the parents of the friends. But the same way Title IX is going to destroy women's sports, and you're just going to see the demise of women's sports, Scouting America and allowing girls, which they're saying they're allowing girls, but they're really allowing all the things in. And drag queens are going to have sleepovers and camp in the same tents as little boys. I mean, it's going to be out of control. So it's so sad that after 114 years, this beautiful establishment that was like part of like American culture is now, I mean, truly, let's put the countdown. When did this pass? Like yesterday? Starting, okay, May 8th till let's see when this thing actually
Yeah,
falls apart. It's got a very short lifespan from now on.
Final word, Josie.
I was going to say, I have girls, you have girls. We know the importance of girls' spaces, but when it comes to Scouting America, there is importance in boys' spaces
course there
too.
is.
Oh yeah.
So we talk a lot about girls because that's what's under. They're not changing the male language; they're changing the woman language,
Yeah.
and it's the women who aren't benefiting. It's the women who are going to lose their scholarships and have to undress in front of males. And the worst part about that Title IX bill, if any of us are uncomfortable with that, we can be sued for harassment.
Yeah.
If a man undresses in front of us. Yep.
Well, let me
Unreal.
tell you something. You know who probably the most important people in America are these days? Women just like you.
Aw.
Because I don't see men being like, sure, let my kid chop his thing off, transition, I'm good with it. I don't see a lot of men doing that. It's women, specifically liberal, progressive women, and they oftentimes don't want to hear from a man. Don't tell me what to do, whatever. But when they hear from pretty, feminine, smart women with children, your voice is so important. You're so important because we did a video on PBD the other day. It was crazy. Remember this video? It was a woman interviewing an 80-year-old grandma.
Oh yes, I saw
And
that.
she said, hey, are you comfortable with your son transitioning to a girl? Yes, of course I am.
Your
Of course.
your grandkid,
Your grandkid.
getting puberty blockers.
Puberty blockers,
Because
thank you.
God forbid that they have to go through female
Yes.
puberty if they didn't want to.
Correct.
Sorry, can I do the
Yes,
story?
go ahead.
2 seconds later, like in the same breath, she goes, "So what do you think about your grandkid getting a tattoo?"
tattoos. I would never.
Oh, that's a little permanent.
Yeah.
The girl's like,
Yes.
permanent? You're gonna block your grandkid from going
Thank
through
you.
puberty. But a tattoo? Yeah, because the lasers are really hard to get off. I mean, we've officially
Yes.
lost
The
it.
cognitive dissonance in this story is so beyond me. Puberty blockers, changing sex.
No,
yeah, I'm okay with
yeah,
that.
cool.
Tattoo.
Are you
I
nuts?
would never.
That's crazy.
permanent.
Puberty-
But this is why you guys are so important. Keep speaking about this issue. It's super important here. I'll tell you two things.
Thank you.
In my experience, when I grew up, there were 3 girls that were like the tomboys. One ended up turning into, she just liked playing baseball with the boys. She ended up turning out to a beautiful girl. And we were actually friends. She was like, she dated one of my buddies. Beautiful girl. She's married with kids now. Thank God she didn't transition. Another girl, today she'd be he, they, them, trans, whatever. Now she's just a full-on lesbian. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. The third one is actually the wildest thing. This was in the mid-90s. She was actually neighbor like 3 houses down. Breaking news. The news showed up on my block. So-and-so, I don't want to say her name, it's a girl, wants to be a Boy Scout. What? A girl wants to be a Boy Scout? It was crazy. It was insane. The news. She ended up on Oprah. She was the most popular person, not necessarily a good way. This was in the 90s in our neighborhood. Where like so-and-so's sister, she had 2 brothers, wants to be a Boy Scout. This is crazy. Like now,
Let her in.
Yeah.
Roll out
let
the
her
red
on in.
carpet.
It's all good.
Good old
No
days.
big deal. All good. So this is a weird time, and I fully think that women, that mothers like you, really got to speak up, because men sometimes, we're going to be a little bit more disagreeable. You women tend to be a little more agreeable. Speak up. Keep saying your piece. That's our show for the day. This has been amazing. We got about 60 seconds left, and I want to thank you guys for being a part of the show. Josie, look in the camera right there. Tell the people where to find you and what you got going on.
You can find me on x.com at TRHL official, or you can go to TIMCAST.com and become a member and help support our work over there. Thank you.
Laura Padrino, you killed it, especially with the abortion thing. I hopefully think that you changed President Brandon Acito's mind a little bit. I
All
don't know.
love, Brandon. By the way, I get hyped, but that's because I'm passionate.
Yeah,
I mean, you're
love it.
Yeah, no
to
worries
find
on
you?
that.
Where can
So
they
get
find Padrino's best Cuban food in all of Miami? Go ahead. South Florida.
Padrinos, we have 5 locations across South
See?
Florida. Padrinos.com for more information. If you want to follow me personally, Instagram is laura.padrino. I'm on Connect as well. Feel free to connect with me. I've had some great conversations on there. And also lovelife.org. It's a ministry that I'm a part of, and you can find out more about things like life and, just what I'm a part of with that. So thank you again
There
for
we
today.
go.
It was a great conversation.
Thank you. Always love having you on.
Thank you.
Brandon Acito, we've been planning,
Brandon.
trying to get you on the show. You keep canceling on me. You're too big time.
boy.
I gotta stop inviting you. You're wondering what's going on, but you made it. You did it.
Made it.
You crushed it. You and Laura had your thing.
Yeah.
What was your biggest takeaway from today's podcast?
Just debate's good and it's essential. People, whether they agree or disagree, even with like the whole Boy Scout thing, the worst thing you could do is hide from confrontation and to be worried about what people are going to think about you if you disagree with them.
Well, I would argue that the worst thing you can do is to your.
Yeah.
We have different opinions. That's fine.
That takes the crown.
You're crushing it. Tell the people to find you on your channel.
Yeah, I'm Brandon Acito on all socials, whether it's X, Instagram, YouTube. You can find me there. I'm also on Connect and on the other Valuetainment shows.
Got it. There he is, right there, Brandon in the house.
Hey, there we are.
Message him if you want to know about politics, what's going on in the economy, socioeconomics. Make sure to message Brandon. By the way, we got about a minute left. I want to publicly acknowledge these 2 women right here. Amy and Natalia, thank you for doing what you do. Amy crushing the distribution. Nat got my back. Everyone needs women, team in their life to help you succeed. Amy, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Publicly, I want the people to know you're crushing it behind the scenes and also on your show as well.
Yes.
Tell people what you got working on these days.
yeah, guys, you can check me out at Amy Dangerfield across every platform. Next week, I actually have a video coming out featuring this guy, Brendan, about CBDCs and about digital IDs and the way they're trying to implement that in Western countries now around the world. So tune in, check me out. Also, I am now on Manect as well.
Find her on
Hey,
Manect. Somebody get her
look,
book.
we're wearing the same blue jacket.
Let's
Look
go.
at that. Okay.
There it is.
Okay.
So, Natalia, Saz and Nat are back in action. What's your biggest takeaway from the show, and where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me Natalia Del Valle on socials. I'm also on Manect. Great show today, everybody. Thank you for coming out for the conversation. Thank you, team. Yeah. Good.
There it is. Alejandra, smile for the camera. We love you. We appreciate you. She's just so
Such a good shot.
She's
Last
so
shout out to the
photogenic.
team for staying a little bit late today. We're working. We're getting better. We're improving. We're ending on time. Thank you guys. And thank you guys for watching another episode of the SOSCAST
It's the
every
SOSCAST.
Tuesday and every Thursday here on Valuetainment. We'll see you next week. Stay safe out there and save that money. We're out of here.
It's the SOSCAST, baby.